Good evening. How's it going, everybody? But yeah, of course, the natural thing to do is take a vacation when you've
Right.
had a big event like that. So I did get almost everything shipped out except for two items. I ran out of boxes, so I couldn't ship the board games, and I didn't ship the grand prize yet because the person who won the grand prize is going on vacation and doesn't want it showing up while they're on vacation. So
Makes sense. Could you find a big enough box for the Lord Whale?
yeah, yeah, it's the Lord
You
winner.
you create for
Um,
him?
yeah, yeah, no, the Warcry box is what I actually ended up switching out with the what Cody had sent me. He had sent the Warcry box in like a really big box, so I just took and bubble wrapped the crap out of the stuff and took that out, and then I put the Warcry box basically in the box that one of the other prizes was in, like the Dominion box or whatever it was. So can't wait to try these wines. Arctic Circle showing up. We got Kicker. We got Snitbag. Like loads of fun. Yeah, yeah. So everyone's kind of showing up already. I think we can go. I haven't done the intro in a while. I didn't even do the intro for the last thing. I didn't do a proper most dangerous intro. So here it goes. What is up, chat gang? I am the magical Mr. Mephisto, the most dangerous man in Age of Sigmar. But I'm on vacation right now. I'm chilling in Gur with my friend SJArcade, a over a decade's experience as a wine professional, a wine and spirits professional. And we're gonna take
Enthusiast, hobbyist,
yeah, we're
and
gonna take you.
professional.
I hope you've got your Hawaiian shirts on and or sweet skull Hawaiian tank tops. I've got my flamingos for my daughter. She loves flamingos, so you gotta hope you're vacationed up. It was a long rantathon. Y'all crushed it. Over $10,000. It was at $10,605.55 was the total raised for Mental Health America. You crushed every milestone and still made me make a new one. So you earned this. You earned this. This is your vacation too, chat gang. So I hope you saw some of the messaging that went out over the week on Twitter. We're able to pick up some white wine. And if you didn't pick up stuff off our list, it's fine. Just grab a bottle of whatever you've got around, open it up, and let's go. So
Yeah, if you don't have the wines that we suggested or the styles of wine, and you just happen to be drinking a alcoholic beverage with us, feel free to throw in chat, ask questions. I probably know something about it.
cheese and crackers, right on. See,
Nice.
this is you know, I love my show. Like it is like moments like this that I absolutely love my show. There isn't like I've only ever been a thinly veiled Warhammer show, but sometimes I do review battle tomes and stuff like that. It's
Unbelievable.
moments like this when it's like, yeah, we'll reference Warhammer a few times, but we're just gonna drink wine and talk about wine. This is when I'm like, this is peak Rantcast. This is what I'm about. I'm about this life.
Corn is on screen right here.
Yeah,
It counts.
yeah. No, it
No,
does.
no, no Twitch mods necessary. We're
Yeah,
here.
yeah. No, you got corn. I've got minis. I can switch my here. Let's put Manfred. There we go. Manfred in the frame. We got a boom, Vargeist, and then here's a Nagash. There you go.
Black spiced rum, fun.
Move
Mead, Scotch, and black
Ooh,
spiced rum. That is an eclectic liquor cabinet.
mead is tasty. I'm recently started getting into mead. Like it's like I don't do like super sweet too much, but there's some really quality meads out there.
I think people, rightly so in some cases, overestimate how like lacking sweet wine is. But we're gonna taste through a couple lightly sweet and some sweet at the end of this, and hopefully show some of its complexer sides.
Right on. And how's it going, Angry Hobbit Gaming? Welcome to Chat Gang. Uh, Viking blood is best mead. So I guess maybe we'll kind of reset some of the stuff from before. We did do this is our second DecantCast. The first one was red wine. Um, like maybe kind of reset on some of those sort of like white wine to me seems very casual compared to red wine. Like there's
Sure.
yeah, I'll let you kind of
Yeah, I mean, it probably gets it because you think just the imagery when you think wine, you think goblet of red next to a steak and asparagus and it's big, luscious, jammy red wine. And then white wine is like, oh, the wine your mom used to drink with her friends at Bunko.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
it it has that stigma of being more feminine, and for like every sales meeting I've ever sat in, every single guy who came up and was trying to pitch a new white wine, it was like, oh, we're trying to get with millennial women. We're trying to get with women here. This is the woman audience for this. And like red wine, all wine is to be enjoyed by everybody.
I love it.
Um,
Wine is all about inclusion. Actually, real quick, right off the gate's a really great question from Princess Wigglebum. What white wine would you recommend to pair with a steak? I hate reds. I know beef is usually paired with red, but I want white wine instead.
Oh, a white wine with a steak. The reason you put red with it is because or usually your big cabs and things, you're looking for that acid punch to cut through the fat of that steak. So aim for Sauvignon Blanc. We're about to taste some of that through. You could be one of these new age hippie kids and try a white Pinot Noir, which have been popping up around. But yeah, Sauvignon Blanc, Semillon maybe, which is basically the same thing. Yeah, just looking for big acid, something you can taste after you take a bite of steak. You need something that pairs with it. So like big steak fatty flavor, big acid wash right after it.
Yeah, and so in general, when you're pairing white wines, you're usually looking for a lighter fare, right? Like fish.
Sure, yeah. A little bit. We'll see with some of these, specifically with the Chardonnay right off the bat, how different these two can be, and how, because they're so different, you have to pair them differently.
Right. So I've got kind of got part of my wine on display here. They're all in there. So we're starting with our shards on the one side, and we've got a little bit of a theme going on. It is Ghur. Ghur is a violent place. Even the vintners, even the wines would fight you. So we're gonna have some wines. Sort of we've got sort of the American wines versus then some challenger from a region that maybe is.
Yeah,
You want to explain
it's
that
early.
actually, maybe?
It's early in the edition. We have to find the meta in these white wines right now. What's hitting? What's not?
Right.
What's rolling in Ghur for 2021? For sure, we know it's hot. It's the realm of beasts, so it's a little sticky.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Arctic Circle, what are some dry wines for someone who is starting to favor dry over sweet?
Well, in the white wine department, we will have French Chardonnays. I'm going to say a little drier than the California in our first verses. And then the Sauvignon Blancs we're going to have come up are going to be on the drier side as well. For reds, Cabernet, Merlot,
The good stuff.
Bordeaux, Pinot Noir, depending on where you get the Pinot Noir from. California Pinot Noirs can actually be kind of sweet and big fruit jammy, where you get like a Burgundy and it's going to be a little drier.
Right on, right on. And so like our first up battle in Ghur, sort of figuring out the meta here is we have our. Well, I guess I've got these two. Mine's a little bit different from yours. I couldn't find the other one, but.
Oh yeah, you ended up with the. Oop, look out! Excuse you, phone. Very rude.
We're drinking wine here. Excuse you.
Pardon. You've got the La Crema Chardonnay, I believe Sonoma, with me as well.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. So I've got the Sonoma Coast.
Sonoma Coast La Crema Chardonnay. This is from the Jackson family wineries. They do Kendall Jackson Chardonnay, this most famous, popular Chardonnay on the planet. I didn't pick that one because it's not necessarily the poster child for California Chardonnays. There's actually a little sweetness on the end from a little dab of muscat at the end of it. So I wanted one that denotes the big butter bomb California Chardonnay that everybody likes. And then the other one we have Meph's new favorite wine label.
Oh, I love this.
Louis Jadot. This is the Mekon Village Chardonnay. They put Chardonnay on the label for us dumb Americans because we don't know. Otherwise, it would just say Mekon Village, because if, of course, it's a white wine from Mekon, it would be Chardonnay.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't know that?
Yeah, yeah. And so I've got the Louis Jadot as well, but I went with the Pouilly Foussé. What is it? Foussé?
Oh, you were close.
Yeah.
It's Pouilly Foussé.
Pouilly Foussé.
Pouilly Foussé.
Puy Fusi. So
There you go.
also a Chardonnay. And this one doesn't say Chardonnay on it, but I
No.
asked a wine professional if it was a Chardonnay by sending him a picture, and he said, yeah, that'll work.
You remember, was it Rocco's wife talking about singing in French? You just don't pronounce any of the consonants.
Yeah, Jackie
It's
said
very
was
much the
saying
same. The Puy Fusi, and there's like 100 letters in that name. You just don't say any of them.
that. Right. And so our first up versus is going to be the Chardonnay versus the Chardonnay, basically, our American versus French. Pretty classic
Right.
battle, I think. Now with red wine, there's a sort of a pageantry to it, right? Like you take your sip. Well, I guess what's the red wine process? Is it different from the white wine process? So
No process
reset the
here.
red wine process for anyone who maybe didn't catch the first
Right.
DecantCast.
Yeah. No big difference here. So for sure, if you're joining us, get you a little snack, a cracker or tortilla or bread or something to kind of break up the taste, because it's going to they're going to be close in some instances. So if you took the Chardonnays both together and just blip blip, they're going to taste almost identical, or one's going to coat your tongue and the other one's just going to shoot right over that. So you want to reset your mouth in between both tastings. But otherwise, it's you take your glass, you give it a good swirl, or you can put it on the counter or table or wherever you're at and swirl it by hand. What you're doing here is you're not checking the legs, because we don't do that anymore. That was kind of just for show. You're setting the aromatics. The wine particles that you smell every time you stir them up sit in the base of the glass. You shove your nose in there. And we're going to learn from last time, Meph. You're going to tell me what you smell before I tell you what you smell.
Well, I get vanilla, like just like a pretty ham-fisted, like.
This is your California, correct?
Yeah, this is my California. Yeah. Maybe some sort of like a nut, like a like a macadamian, like sort of a.
Mm-hmm.
And like a hint of citrus, but not like overpowering, like when you get to the Sauvs.
Right. Yeah, I would agree with all those things. Maybe a little. I can get a little bit of that buttercream, kind of in the middle range there.
Yeah.
But all right, so if this is everyone's first sip so far, take the sip. Let your mouth set to the pH level. You might get some tartness or pull on your cheeks.
So our first sip is setting the pH level. It's helping us.
Correct. Yeah, it's letting your mouth know it's in for a party tonight. That second sip is going to be a little bigger, and you're going to shoot it around your mouth like mouthwash.
And you're going to chew it.
Let it hit all the different areas of your tongue.
That's the chewing of it, right? That's the chewing of wine.
Yeah, that's the chew. Yeah. All right, Meph, what do you get?
Butter. I mean, they're not.
Butter.
I get what they're talking about. Like, especially like the longer it lingers on the palate, the more you like, sort of like, smack your lips and stuff. Like, I get the butter. Like
it's like a big bite of butter popcorn.
Yeah.
Like there's too much butter on the popcorn, and it's just like squishing out of the way.
Yeah. That's actually pretty. Do I like Chardonnays now?
Oops. Dude, the whole paradigm of meth is being destroyed. You're going to start collecting Stormcast? You like Chardonnay? What's happened to you?
Well, Chardonnay was like my grandma's wine, Like, it was, my grandma drank Chardonnays. What is getting smashed classily? I think Nagash is a white wine lover. I bet you he's more into like a Bordeaux or something really aged, like a port even. Like,
I would imagine wine bores him at this point.
maybe.
It's been a billion years, or however long he's been watching the Mortal Realms. At least 10,000.
Can you do that in Wisconsin? Can I get smashed classily? Like, Wisconsin, all we do is get classy and smashed. It's like what we do. That's what we're famous for.
What's the nice way to put it? It's like he's enjoying himself. Oh, it looks like he's enjoying himself.
getting drunk on wine while critiquing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
I mean, normally in a professional environment, you have your spit bucket there, you do your big chew, and then you spit it out. Because if you're tasting 40 to 50 wines in 3 hours, that's like drinking 5 or 6 glasses of
So
wine.
is this Chardonnay oaked or unoaked?
This is oaked. So, yeah, let's do that breakdown. So, the reason it's so buttery is because it uses California oak barrels. So, both of these wines go through a process called malactic fermentation. This takes off a little bit of the citrus and some of the off notes you don't want from the grapes and turns it into a bigger body, rounder wine. And when you combine that with the California oak, which is usually charred, like they take these big flamethrowers and burn the inside of the barrel to char it and caramelize the inside, and that's what pulls a little bit of that vanilla you get on the nose.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what that malolactic plus that charness gets that butter. And that's what creates the big, bold, because if you took this La Crema, and I think La Crema has an unoaked Chardonnay version, I could be wrong, but if you took a California Chardonnay that says unoaked, it's going to taste more like our French fella here. It's all in that barrel and how much it gets off of the wood.
Can I just take a moment to appreciate how you have this cadence, this sound that is like equal parts like Bob Ross and Mr. Rogers, but you're talking about wine, and it is. I hope everyone in Chat Gang is enjoying this right now. This is fantastic.
It's almost like I've been selling it for over 10 years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I watch a lot of Mr. Rogers with my girls.
There you go. Yeah, so I'd say we. La Crema is great.
So what effect is it like smoking meat? Similar. I mean, it certainly affects it. That toast and char from the wood gives those vanilla notes. There's been a big, I can't say it's new, but there's been a trend with reds to use bourbon barrels. And they've been getting a lot of interesting things. So you take a Mondavi cab, it's straight up cab, quintessential California Cabernet, and then you put it in a bourbon barrel, and now you're getting all kind of different things. More vanilla, I might put a little sweet on the end of it. So everything that goes into wine changes it in some way.
Right.
What was the theme of the first one? Torture. The more you torture it,
Right.
the more interesting the wine is.
That holds for white wines as well. That's just like
How many times are the barrels reused? About 5 or 6 before they really start losing efficiency, and then they become neutral barrels because all the goodness has been sucked out of it.
Do they do anything with the neutral barrels or?
Yes, if you want to age your wine and you don't want to have Californian oak notes in it, use a neutral barrel. Or you use steel, or you use ceramic, or you use French oak. French oak does give it some stuff, but it doesn't give nearly as much notes as the California, as we'll see if we move on to our friends in France.
Okay, so we're establishing the meta. We've got our buttery American coming
Buttery
off the top
all
rope.
around.
Yeah.
Goes with fried chicken, pot pie, that kind of stuff. Fits in great with that. Some barbecue or grilled shrimp. Go great with the California Chardonnay.
All right, now I got to go get Molly a pour of this.
Oh yes, Molly.
So
Refill.
So
The barrels release wood, sugars, and caramelize. Correct. How many times have you ever used? Okay, I think. Not a fan of the white meat. All right. Well. I mean, it would go with pork. It would go with beef if you gave it some kind of a nice creamy sauce. I just wouldn't throw it next to a steak necessarily. It would probably fall over next to a steak, at least the California one. You gave them all like full-size barrels, Dr. Darkmatch, like full waist height barrels, or are we talking like little fellas? Yes, I wouldn't consider myself an expert in mead, but I would. I have some experience with it. Yeah, it's certainly not one as a wine salesman. You're not selling mead to everybody, so it just comes up less than the other things. It's like I'm slowly getting into sakis, but
I like
sake's
sake.
obviously not the volume of wine. We were just talking about if I know anything about mead, it's made out of honey and it's slightly sweet, depending on who makes it. That's what I know.
Well, the trend in meads I see right now is actually mixing them with other stuff. So I had like a mead that was actually I kept the bottle because I want to find it again. It was Necro Mango Con or something like that, and it was like a mango pepper mead, and it was delicious. So we're getting our aromatics by swirling, right?
Right. Oh yeah. So we're on to France. We've reset our mouth with a little piece of something and a little swish. So if you smell it, now what do you get?
I actually smell it's like more of an earthier, like a very earthy smell right off the bat. Like
Look at this guy. I didn't even script this guy.
like like the other one, like I got the like that vanilla. This is like very earthy by comparison for like kind of surprisingly earthy. That's
And
gonna
that's the big difference you're going to get with most wines, Old World and New World. Old World, it smells more rustic, more mineral, more like hard fruit. And then the other one in California or New Zealand, you're going to get those big, giant, what the fruit you're supposed to taste punch is, or butter in California. All right.
so like California is known like is buttering it. Like they aim for that. So like
Yeah,
a Wisconsin
that's
or
the
like a
gimmick.
Washington Chardonnay might not be as buttery.
Correct. And you're going to get a lot more. I mean, they're going to use some California because they want to compete and grow with that, but they'll use a lot of steel or unoaked to get more of the French style. So you take a sip here.
So we got our sip. See, I love how much you love wine. Like you can see like just the enjoyment at every step in the process for you.
So after that first sip, are you amazed they call these things the same thing? Because to me, this is like a green apple punch. I get a bunch of big apple.
This doesn't
And
have the like acid of like even the American Chardonnay felt like it had a little bit more acid to it. This is a very very mellow actually. This is very mellow by comparison.
oh yeah. Well, and you even went fancier with that Puy Fussy. They put a little more love into that one.
I no I see. I couldn't drink a bottle of the. Okay, I can drink a bottle of anything, but
Shouldn't
I
lie to chat gang like that.
yeah. Drinking a bottle of the La Crema like in one sitting would be a chore for me.
Mm-hmm.
I could go through this tonight. Like, just
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I get green apple. I get some like some almost like what do you call it? Like the preserved apple or like apple sauce
yeah.
a little bit in there. Candied apple is the word I'm looking for. A little candy. And especially after that buttery California chard, I'm just getting boom, 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 big citrus fruits off this one. Yeah, and that's the big difference between California and French slash unoaked is.
So if
Do
I
you want that round buttery experience, or do you want the big fruit, apple,
and
white
and,
fruit,
and the
white
old
peach?
world is where I get the earthier then. So like if
Yeah,
I'm gonna get something a little bit more assertive if it's New World, even if it's unoaked, it's still gonna be a little bit more on the assertive side.
it's a little more attitude.
A little more. It tracks. I mean, it tracks. Hades,
And
Death
if
God, dropping 1,000 RDP to remind everyone that chat gang ain't none to mess with. And by the way, Hades, Your prize is in the post. So, thank you for donating. Everyone's is except for 2 people. Snitbags didn't make it in, and then the grand prize winners didn't make it in. But everybody else, I will. It'll probably late tonight, late tomorrow. I'll send people the tracking information so they can stare at the thing. And
You digging that La Crema kicker? That is Travis, right? That's his name. Let's see.
Ooh, this La Crema is smooth. Yeah, maybe cheap Chardonnays are just garbage tier. Like
You didn't hear it from me.
Like the thing, like I can buy a cheap Merlot and have fun with it. I cannot drink a cheap Chardonnay. Like they just.
Isn't it amazing? All the entire time we've talked about DecantCast 2, White Boogaloo, it's been, well, I don't like shards, so we're going to torture our way through shards, and both shards you liked. And now you're ready to enjoy the shard train.
No, I can fuck with a shard now. I think I can fuck. Molly's experience might be different out there. She's baking a cake, commission cake actually. So. If you know me on Facebook, you've seen her cakes a lot more than on Twitter, but I did share one of them this last year. And someone saw her cakes and was like, "Hey, can you make one for my daughter?" And what do you got there? What's this?
Oh, I'm just getting my Pinot Grigio ready. So, another little tool of the trade. You obviously have your white wines in your fridge or on ice or whatever, but you want to pull them out about 15 minutes before you drink it. Because you don't want to drink it cold.
Yeah,
that eliminates the taste.
No.
And the opposite for reds.
Pretty mellow.
You take the reds, put them in the fridge 15 minutes before you drink
Molly
them.
has weighed in. Lulu has weighed in. She likes the French better than the American.
Vive la France.
Sorry, I missed what you were saying there. You were.
Oh no, I was saying 15 minutes. You chill your white wines, pull them 15 minutes before you drink them. But with red wines, you put them in the fridge 15 minutes before you drink them, so they're slightly chilled.
Right.
You don't want it to be ice cold because that eliminates most of the flavors. It's going to make your tongue, get tight, and you just miss all the little intricacies. That's why you drink cheap vodka cold, because you know you don't want to taste it. So
Yeah.
drink it cold.
Yeah. Well, I heard that Americans tend to drink our white wines too cold.
Yes.
And our cabs, our red wines too warm. Like
That's it, and that'll help you with both. Let them sit for about 15 minutes with white. Let them chill for about 15 minutes with red. You're perfect.
Yeah. So you're keeping your white wine kind of in the fridge for that day when you're going to drink it, and then you pull it out.
Oh sure, yeah. It just needs 15 minutes out because you still want to be cold and refreshing, and you want the bottle to be able to sit on the table for a few minutes. But yeah, you don't want it ice cold.
Yeah, we're getting lit in here, Grimslacker. If you're just now joining everybody, grab a beverage. Doesn't need to be wine. You're certainly encouraged to have some wine. We did share a little bit of a shopping list. Hopefully you've got a couple items off that. But otherwise, just grab your favorite beverage and just maybe learn something about wine and the wine meta. Right now it's American Chard versus French Chard, and we're going to switch over to. Well, what's up next while I enjoy?
We're going to palate cleanse with Pinot Grigio, just in case people have not enjoyed the wine of my people. They can.
So, are you French? Are you?
No, Pinot Grigio is Italian.
Oh, all right.
And I am at least partly Italian. As you can tell, I'm also a lot of other things.
Well, no, I thought you meant that if they didn't enjoy the wine of your people, like they didn't enjoy the Chard.
Oh, of the French? No, the French can keep to themselves, but they make good wine.
Yeah.
And CGO Busta, proud second place donator for the Rantpoons.
How's it going,
Better
CJ?
luck next year, CJ.
I'm not going to share. The overall donations was won by SJ, but the single high score was won by CJ. And the real takeaway point is we got some oil barons in the house.
Big.
Thank you so much for the 5 gift subs. Enjoy the emotes, everybody. And you don't need to be subbed to be part of Chat Gang. Chat Gang is about the will to be a part of something.
Yeah. A light razzing between us oil barons.
Yeah.
You know, who gets the bigger wing of the new art museum? That kind of thing.
Man, I'm so proud of everybody. This rantathon. You know, last year I'm like, was it a fluke? I don't know. You know, can I repeat the success? Like now that I have expectations, I was having stress dreams. I was having stress
You were
dreams.
sweating. You
No,
were sweating.
I the whole time leading up to it, I was having stress dreams. I would wake up, thinking I forgot a prize. I would wake up thinking I was having internet issues, like during the rantathon. I would wake up thinking I went to lay down and like had Habo come on for his block, and then something went wrong and he was trying to call me and like couldn't get the internet back up, like, or couldn't get the stream back. It was just all kinds of crap.
You like the way, especially the day or two before in the Discord. It sounded like you were like, well, we'll do about $500 this year, and it's going to be a great time, and we're just going to have fun with it. Don't worry, guys. Even without me and CJ's oil money, you beat last year.
We did, yeah. Even without it, and a little. I'll give myself a little healthier pour. Pinot Grigios are really easy drinking. Big pour. That's right. It was the average single donation worked out to be about $15.30. So like the average, like if we had 693 donations throughout the whole event. So the average donation worked out to be about $15. How is that for fucking grassroots? You know, like my joke is like my mental health burrito. Like I go and get like a burrito sometimes, and I'm like, and just for 6 minutes I'm eating the burrito, and it's all that matters. It's one of my quiet moments. And for the cost of my average Qdoba burrito order with a drink and like some chips, like we made a huge difference. You know, like, so I'm really proud. This one's to you, Chat Gang.
You should be. And you got the Cavit Pinot Grigio.
Yeah.
So this is your run-of-the-mill $7-8 Pinot Grigio, which is kind of where you want to live. One of the biggest Pinot Grigios on the planet is Santa Margarita, and that'll run you about $23 a bottle. Cavit is grown across the street from Santa Margarita.
Well,
it tastes like Pinot Grigio to me. Just saying.
Yeah, and that is with the 2K donations in there. So I mean, just people showing up and donating here and there. What was interesting looking at some of the information, we had people show up and just like throw $5 at like just the one prize they kind of wanted to win, or like maybe they were busy that weekend, and so you had like people doing that, but then you obviously had like people donate to all of them throughout, and like it was really cool, like being able to see that like sort of information, because as it's coming in, you're not processing it, but as I was having to like go through, make sure I had people's addresses and stuff, I paid attention to it. I crunched some numbers. So yeah, cheers and thank you, everybody. The healing cheeseburger. Yeah.
Yeah, Whataburger #2, cheese and jalapenos. Yeah. It fills that hole in my heart, and then it will stop my heart one day.
Walks on cam for the RantCast nude. Did my daughter walk in here in her underwear? Did I miss it?
No, I think he was adding to your stretch streams.
Oh yeah, like my stress streams. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So Pinot Grigio, Meph, tell me about it. What do you feel? What do you smell? What do you think?
I get I get pear. Like I get a pretty heavy.
A little white pear, yeah. And the nose is definitely, I might be a little shot. Hold on.
Just the fruity, like. Almost like
nice, clean mineral.
Yeah.
Like a pond with some lemon.
And honestly, this is grape juice that gets you drunk.
Yes. So this is where Pinot Grigio, like I was saying, you can spend a lot of money on Pinot Grigio, but if you just want that Italian white wine experience that goes with fish or just sitting on a porch, Pinot Grigio is nice and easy. This is a very easy entry-level wine as well. I wouldn't be expecting much. Don't put a lot of expectations on my poor Pinot Grigio, but you can drink it fast. You get caught just drinking full glasses of each of these.
No, this is like I said, this is vacation for me. I've listened to my promise with Giannis. We've been holding pretty firm to that. I was on with Snitbag last night on his show, The Fat Middle, and just talked, just a bunch of yammering, and I had a beer, like I had 2 beers with him because he's drinking, so and then I had one Sunday a little bit ago, and so I'm proud of myself, but tonight I'm drinking the full glasses of wine. This is for science and
Education.
Yeah, educational. Yeah, it's educational.
You're bettering yourself. This is still Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
You think Giannis doesn't go to some baller wine tasting events? You're mistaken. They walk in and do them for them. So another quick trick for everybody. I'm sure some of you either wash your glasses out or you have water next to you to wash your glasses between. I prefer a little dip of the next wine and then rinse and pour. So now the glass tastes like the next wine.
Smart.
And then you don't have water sitting over from the next one because you never pour out all of it. This doesn't water down your wine.
This is a fantastic question from Kicker here. Are there some types of wine that are generally less important to spend more money on?
Oh, sure. Yeah,
well, as we've established, I can't drink cheap Chard. Like, I gotta get at least a mid-tier, right? Like $12. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's all about finding what you like, and that's all over the place, as we found out with DecantCast 1 with the red wines. We liked the Gnarly Head Zin, and then that Saldo Zin came in and was, wow, fantastic, but it doesn't make the Gnarly Head any less good. Mm-hmm. For reds, I wouldn't spend a lot of money on. You're asking the wrong guy, because I spend lots of money on wine because I love it. Probably Pinot Grigio, probably Moscato. You're probably going to get a similar wine experience no matter how much money you spend. You can go too cheap for sure, and
then you get the rot gut,
yeah, or you just a lot of people will say I experience headaches, I experience some my skin will start turning red, or I'll start getting some splotches on my skin if I drink wine, and I go, well, how expensive is the wine you're drinking? And if they're drinking $3 Cabernet from
you leave my Charles Shaw alone. You leave my $3 Chuck alone. Okay?
There is a Spanish wine that the big grocery chain in Texas sells that's just at $3. Mm-hmm. So you're telling me a Spanish wine from Spain was grown, crushed, bottled, shipped across the ocean to Texas, and it's $3? Mm-hmm. Okay. What your money buys you is care. So you're getting less filtration, you're getting less quality control, you're getting less everything. So what happens when you harvest grapes? Giant machines come through and pick the grapes. They also pick up dirt, bugs, sticks, leaves from the vines, all that stuff. Crunch it up. The more expensive it is, the more chance you're going to get more of that stuff filtered out. Which is why every so often we get some cockamamie lawsuit from some guy trying to get his name in the paper who's like, I'm suing Sutter Home wineries because they have sulfides or arsenic in their wine. It's like, well, every agricultural product has arsenic in it. Like if your apple that you get from the grocery store has arsenic on the skin. It's just from growing in and around dirt and the dirt we use and the different pesticides.
Yeah.
So the more filtration pulls out more of those sticks, pulls out more of the stuff that makes your head hurt, makes your skin turn red, all that stuff. So if you're having trouble with wine, maybe try bumping up.
I'm going to give you a healthy pour for this one.
Healthy pour.
Big pourer.
Do we have any white blends tonight? No white blends tonight.
What?
Particular reason? There's not a specific, we're trying to knock down varietals, and white wines they're all proprietary. This guy uses a little more Sauv Blanc. This guy's Pinot Grigio. It's all over the place. This is building that. This is just white wine 101. Once we get to DecantCast 48, then we'll start really breaking down the proprietary blends and how wine works.
Lulu earlier said, and she came in here to inform me to read her comment. Moscato is a better intro wine, LOL. And I think she's throwing shade at your shards and stuff.
That's not an LOL. You know how many people have gotten in? Because Moscato was a nothing, and then Moscato became a giant wine 5 or 6 years ago, and now lots of people drink it.
Oh, but the extras
Yeah,
is where the
exactly.
taste comes from in the sticks in the dirt. That's how you know you're from the earth. Yeah,
Yeah, it's vegan.
yeah. We talking Texan wine? That's my jam.
We have no Texas wines tonight. I thought really hard about getting Jano Gewürztraminer to show off some Texas pride, but figured I'd try to get stuff that everybody could have a chance of getting.
And just off of Dr. Darkmatch's comment up here, recommendation for Chat Gang is if you like whiskey, buy yourself a barrel. I'm gonna take that a step further. Actually, like instead of trading stonks, you can actually purchase barrels from like
Oh
a
yeah.
company, and they'll
Yeah.
like keep the barrel and then basically buy it back from you once it's aged in the future. And the return on like essentially barrel futures is outrageous right now.
Oh
So
yeah, especially with the giant wine and liquor stocking crisis we have thanks to COVID. Yeah,
yeah, yes.
everything's worth more.
I mean, if you've got the money to do it, like, and it's you're okay with a long term investment, like 15 years or so, barrel stocks basically, like, get in on that. It's like, buddy was telling me about how he went in for what, like, $50 each person and walked away with like 3,000 each person, like, just insanity. So yeah,
It's beautiful.
we going in on whiskey barrels, fellas.
Yeah, right.
There you go. Um,
Yeah, so we have oil barons, we have the Wall Street guys, and then now we'll have bourbon
the bourbon
traders,
barons, the whiskey.
bourbon privateers.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Moscato was big time in my Mamma Mia pizzeria's family.
Yeah, Frank and I, my gabagoo over here. Hey, Megadola with your Moscato.
All right, so we're moving on to the Kendall Jackson Sauvignon Blanc, right?
Yep, we're now in the next meta matchup, Sauvignon Blancs.
Did we decide who won the Battle of the Shards?
Vive la France. Personally, I don't like you said. I couldn't sit and drink a California butter bomb from cork to bottom,
Yeah, yeah,
but a French Chardonnay, I could accidentally drink a bottle of French Chardonnay.
yeah. No, that one's actually tasty, and you can tell which one I poured more heavily from.
Look at that visual aid of winning right there.
Yeah, like you can actually see like a full half a glass more poured. Um, did Meph shard himself? Not lately, not recently, anyway.
Nice.
All right, so right now we're on the Kendall Jackson. So tell me a little bit
Yep,
about what
we're
I'm
on
about to get here.
Sauvignon Blanc. So Sauvignon Blanc is when you see the white or the wine called Cabernet Sauvignon. This is one of his cousins that came together to make the Cabernet Sauvignon. Sauvignon Blanc is obviously Sauvignon that is white. They take the skins off early in the process so they don't dye the wine red or give it any of those terroir pieces to its complexity.
There is something very familiar, like a pure nostalgic smell, where I'm smelling this and it reminds me of something and I can't quite place it.
Taking meth back in time.
It's
Remember,
almost
meth.
like
Wake up, meth. Wake up.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're here to talk.
It's almost like almost like a flowery scent with the Sauvignon Blanc.
Nice floral. Some nice like tropical fruit. Maybe some like kiwi. But like very very light on the nose. Not overpowering. nice, tasty aroma. So this one's probably going to pull a little bit more than the Chard. So definitely
That's
a little.
got some pH. That's got some pH
Yeah.
to it.
You're definitely going to want a small sip first to let your cheeks know what's up. Because now we've entered the acid zone of Sauvignon Blanc. This is your dry white wine. When a recipe asks for a dry white wine, Sauvignon Blanc.
I'm gonna go raid a pantry and participate in the winning. I agree, or the whining. I agree. I mean, it's both really. We won at Mental Health America's charity stream. Now we're winning at wine. It's just racking up the W's these last couple weeks for Chat Gang.
And coming off of that French Chardonnay, this is just that next higher. I'm getting some big citrus in this, some big lemon, some lime in there.
Yeah.
Let's get some ASMR for Chad.
See, I like the smell of this better than I like the taste of it.
Yeah, Sauvignon Blanc's going to be a little harder, and this is one I would definitely. Well, I can porch pound Sauvignon Blanc. Definitely one you want to have with food for me.
No.
And this one pairs up with any big non-red wine meals that have a lot of flavor to them. This is one to pair because then it keeps over the top of that flavor.
Right. Does it have a pleasant mouthfeel? I mean, it's acid. Like the pucker was. You could feel that, like my dimples, which don't often pronounce.
That's why you always want to do that little sip, especially after Pinot Grigio, because Pinot Grigio is so light, so easy, unassuming. Yeah. Like Meph said, it's grape juice that gets you drunk, and then Sauvignon Blanc's like, "Hey, how are you?"
You can. It's because you can see the dimples. When the dimples come out, you know I'm not enjoying the wine.
Uh-oh.
You looked like you like you ate a lemon. Yeah, I mean that's. I mean it's fine, but sorry, Kendall Jackson. I wouldn't buy you again.
Wouldn't blame necessarily just Kendall Jackson. It's American Sauvignon Blancs that are of that more citrus fruit, and there's some grass tones in there as well.
I was gonna say it reminded me of like a leaf.
Mm-hmm. Like, maybe some bell pepper.
Like licking a leaf.
Green pepper.
You know, like great for cooking and lots of food. See, I go with the Alton Brown. Kendall Jenner wine. I go with the I go with the Alton Brown. Cook with things you drink. If you don't like the taste of it when you're drinking it, you shouldn't be putting it in your food. Like, I understand, like, this idea of, well, it's a good cooking wine. Sure, but you want to find, like, a good cooking wine from things you drink, because that flavor is going to, you know, be imparted in the food.
Right. And so this one would put a lot of that lemon lime. Mm-hmm. Also helps break up the fats in the meat with all that acid. Yeah. But you also want to cook with stuff you drink so you can drink while you cook.
It's true. It's true. The first thing I do when I buy a wine to cook with it is I pour myself a glass from the wine I'm about to pour to like deglaze my pan or whatever. It's the first thing I do.
And now for something completely different. New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc.
Well,
which one did you end up with? You ended up with Villa Maria?
I did find the 13 Celsius, but it was at the second store I went to, and I'd already purchased this one, and I wasn't gonna, buy a second wine. Molly already looked at the receipt, and she was like, "Wow." I'm like, "It's for education."
I ended up with Nobilo Sauvignon Blanc. This one is like very indicative of what we're going to be talking about here. Sorry, talking away from the mic.
All right, let me go. I'm just gonna Wisconsin this one here.
Ayo.
No, thank you.
Ooh, pucker up. Oh, CJ, you'll bust with the Sauvignon Blanc. Found it. Now, what is its country of origin, CJ? And we can help you out.
I love how, like, the country to you I mean, obviously regions matter too, but like you hone in on country first and drink Wisconsinably. Exactly.
Well, you want to always you try to go big to small with wines. Okay, it's a wine. Is it red or is it white? It's white. It's a Sauvignon Blanc from this country, from this appellation, from this vineyard. You try to break down all the way through. I believe it's from California according to the label. Well, as long as it says it's called Grounded. Not familiar with that Sauvignon Blanc. If it says it's from California, I'll believe you. It's either from California, from Chile, or it's from Marlborough, or whatever, New Zealand.
All right.
My mispronunciation is going to bite me there. I
Get
believe
my-
yours is from New Zealand.
Yeah, so I've got a Villa Maria because the point was to find a New Zealand wine. So I found a New Zealand from Marlborough Sauvignon Blanc. So upside down represent. We got New Zealand in the house. I gotta go get Molly a pour and fulfill a request from Chat Gang. 1 second.
Yeah. This is from Haiti's Nicer Neighbors in New Zealand. Malbecs and Riojas were slided tonight. Well, we're just doing whites. I don't think we did a Malbec in DecantCast 1. DecantCast 3 will have to be some catch up on some different wines. Or we'll do a sparkling. That'd be fun too. It's around New Zealand. I'll have my $250 Pierre Jouet Belle Epoque Brut Rosé, which is gorgeous. There it is. Got the big cheese over here.
There. Does that make you happy? Who said I needed to put the cheese head on?
We need cheese with wine.
Like, I can't wear my headset and wear this Princess Wigglebum. So
Well, I would say fulfilled.
yeah, but there we go. This is for you.
Take a picture.
Yeah, screenshot, clip that shit. There we go. All right.
Okay, so you remember what we just tasted,
Mhm.
and we just smelled. How much different is that nose immediately?
So I'm getting the I get the pear still, but then there's I get like an apricot or like more of a goes like tropical a little bit, almost.
Do you get any grapefruit in there?
Yes, but you just said, does this smell like bananas to me? Like you just.
Well, luckily for you, New Zealand Sauvignon Blancs, depending on how saucy they want to be, it almost always smells like you just cut a grapefruit open in the middle of the table.
Can we get a meth a modded cheese head? All right, we'll go for our. Let's get the pH set. That's not as harsh.
Napolo is like, I feel like I just took a bite out of a grapefruit.
Volcanic soil, moss the wine, magmic, makes the wine magic. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to make sure this wine doesn't mess with my heart medication.
Well, there's a wine that is pretty much exclusively Australian, and it's the Shiraz or whatever like that, and there was like a whole kerfuffle with them getting the wrong grape, right? Like it's like why I can't remember but I think it's Shiraz, or they were supposed to get Shiraz and they got to get different grape. It's something along those lines. Where Australia, I know this is New Zealand and they're not the same country,
Right.
but they were supposed to get a grape. It was the wrong grape. And so, like, there's this whole thing where there's an entire category of wine where, like, it's a Shiraz unless it's Australian, and then it's actually this, but they call it a Shiraz anyway. And they're very good at making it.
Shiraz is just Australian Syrah.
That's what it is. It's the Syrah,
Yeah.
but it's called Shiraz, yeah.
But much in the same way, like, if you want to be fancy in California and make a Sauvignon Blanc, you could call it a Fumé Blanc. It's just a Sauvignon Blanc, but maybe a little proprietary, a little extra, drop a little
That's what
white
it was.
something here or there.
That's what it was. They got Syrah, but like it was like mislabeled and Shiraz, and they just kept calling it Shiraz, right? Like that's what happened.
Yeah.
Something along those
Is
lines.
Pinot Grigio and Pinot Gris the same?
Pinot Gris.
Basically.
Yeah.
Greece.
But the
American.
last one of the last big wine competitions, a bunch of Australian vintners won. They just like rattled off like wins in a bunch of categories. So they're doing
I
something
like
right.
Shiraz. Yeah, Shiraz. It's the reason Yellowtail as a company exists. 'Cause everybody likes Yellowtail Shiraz.
I suppose. This is a little bit more bearable than the Kendall Jackson, but it's also I don't know.
Big. A lot of acid. A lot of citrus fruit. So if you enjoy a nice citrusy drink, Sauvignon Blanc's right there. If you want that dry white like we were talking about. When are we making our own bathtub wine? It's harder than it looks, kids. Prisoners have talent.
Yeah, no, it's true. They're people too.
Hmm.
Aussie wine is only good because they got Chileans to teach them.
Chileans.
Chileans, yeah, there you go.
Here it is. Now, Australia makes great wine.
Yeah, they do.
Lots of great Australian wine. And New Zealand has mastered Sauvignon Blanc. To me, if you want Sauvignon Blanc, you go with New Zealand, personally.
I mean, this is easier to drink, just 100%. I'm still getting all the like acid but it's not like biting into a lemon.
Right. Yeah, different acids, different acid fruits. Lemon lime or grapefruit? Which feels better on the palate for you?
Well, grapefruit with a little sugar is actually palatable. Lemon with a little sugar, you just took lemon and made it disgustinger.
Yeah, you just made that face when you hand a baby a lemon and they just do the ooh.
Yeah.
Yellowtail is just a brand name for turpentine, right? Oh, look, we got the snobs have appeared. Look out, folks.
So
Hey,
I mean,
Yellowtail is
you do drink like you tend to drink higher end wine.
I have access usually to more higher end wine, yes.
But I remember some of the early days of you like hanging out in stream. Like I'd talk about how I love cheap wine, and you never harshed my mellow. You never like made fun of me. Like Fetzer, Fetzer is box wine, and they moved it. I thought they got rid of it.
Franzia?
Franzia. No, not Franzia. I usually go a little bit. I don't mind Franzia.
Or Boda Box, Black Box.
Boda Box, Black Box. There's a new one that's really decent. It's proprietary or Festival has an exclusive deal with them, and they're actually really good right now. Festival's a local chain grocery.
Gotcha.
So there's some good bag and box wines out there, man. And the value, it's like having 6 bottles of wine, 5 bottles of wine in one.
Well, when's the last time you saw somebody in chat gang say, "Oh, I play KO," or "I play this army," and you go, "That army's dumb." Like, oh, you enjoy it? Great. Awesome.
I hope
Love it.
I hope that's what I hope that's what I've projected. Like it's fun to banter and bust people's chops, like vanilla sauce showing up busting our chops, or stupid elves and you do the elf dwarf thing or Slanesh elf
Yeah.
thing. Like that's fine. But at the end of the day, it's like you see those just the toxicity once you leave chat gang of like people harshing people's mellow. Come on, man, I ain't about that life. Except for when
everywhere.
Except for when I play
ran
Mass
into
Effect 3, and then it's
me and a compatriot were drinking at lunch, and we noticed a woman or 2 ladies at the bar who had bought one of our wines. We had the company card, and we walked over and said, "Hey, this bottle's on us. Enjoy. Thanks for supporting us." And we started talking to them, and the snobbery is hilarious with wine. It's like, "Oh, I don't drink Kendall Jackson. It's on a par with Barefoot. You shouldn't drink any wine they sell at CVS." And it's just like, they sell Moet at CVS. Like, I've seen a PJ Grand Brut at CVS. Like, any of these preconceived notions that a cost or availability of a wine dictates its quality, only thing that dictates quality is what it feels like when it hits your tongue. That's it. It's no good to you. It's no good to you.
I love that. I mean, but there is a little bit of like you get what you pay for with wine, though. There is a little bit of that, right?
We're in the greatest age of wine of all time, because if you spend above $8, you're probably getting a pretty okay bottle of wine.
Right on. Right on.
You know, everything under $8, results may vary.
Right.
Again, up to you.
Yeah, that's where like the
I'll have your mouth.
Behringer Moscato, not too bad. It's like $6, $5.99. $4.99, $5.99.
That's why Moscato's on my list of. It doesn't really matter how much you spend on Moscato. It all tastes the same.
Question here from Princess Wigglebum: what type of wine do you think is done reasonably well in Canada? Any decent, tasty Canadian wines? Ooh, that's a good question. Because you got to punish the grape, but it needs to be able to grow.
Yeah, you can. It can be too punishing. We're talking about grapes, and grapes are not known for being strong. That's not one of their. Like you don't think a grape could hold up anything, so you can't be too mean to it. I mean, I had Wayne Gretzky's wine once. It was abysmal.
Shots fired at Gretzky.
Canada. Well, I mean, you always need super results may vary on celebrity endorsed wines, or I have my own vineyard wines.
Snoop's Crimes wine was pretty tasty.
Celebrity tie-ins, I would say slightly different than I bought a vineyard and some guy makes my wine for me.
Oh, fair.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg partnering with 19 Crimes. 19 Crimes is great brand.
Quality wines. They did their bourbon range for a little bit there. Those were tasty. Those are good.
I imagine they make some good ice vines there. I think they could produce that. In some of the southern regions, they could probably pump out a Pinot Noir, maybe close to Washington and Oregon. But I would say it's probably too cold for anything too spectacular.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes the regions just like the reason that France and California can grow something similar, and the only real difference is the dirt and the barrels, is because if you look at a map, if you just go from California across, it's on that same band of the planet. So they're able to get similar weather conditions to produce the same wine. So when you come down to Texas and you try to grow Cabernet and Pinot Noir, it doesn't work. But we're on the same line as Spain, so we can grow Tempranillo, Rioja, some of those Spanish grapes, and we do that more effectively here than we can get away with some of the German sweeter stuff like Riesling and Gewürztraminer and that. But yeah, if it's just not the right place to grow wine, you just can't grow wine.
I mean, it is an amazing correlation that just where you are on the lines, the literal lines of the map. That sort of climate you're supposed to get. Can I ask a deep cut? I don't know if you'll have an answer for this, but do you think climate? Like the climate crisis has been affecting vintners. Have you seen that on your side? Like where, suddenly you're getting Texas weather in Washington or California or France.
It's 100% going to change. Wait for the semi truck to drive by. If the climate changes and everything just goes down a band or up a band or just slightly to the left or right, like it's going to change everything because it's such a delicate process, and they're pushing these areas to the absolute limit of grape growing potential. So if it changes, everything will have to change. But if it frosts too much, if the California wildfires come through and knock out a bunch of vineyards, people will tell you things like, the California wildfires, you can taste the smoke in the grapes. I wouldn't believe much of that talk if I were you. But certainly, if it changes, it changes, and it has. The weather and climate is so important to wine growing that any slight adjustment is going to make some land worthless and some land suddenly the most expensive in America.
Yeah. Kicker, does anyone have grow houses for grapes?
Oh, sure. Yeah. It's just not economical. For wine, you're going to need such a giant plot of land to get grapes growing that just not particularly economical. I mean, really, there's no, outside of some plants that just produce like crazy, like tomatoes, and you can grow 100 tomatoes in such a small little square. Grapes, again, and once you take them away and put them in that grow house, how do you simulate the stress? How do you simulate the heat, the rocky terrain, the winds that come through, how it cools at night? It's too difficult.
The punishment it needs to
it's not worth
tannins.
the squeeze to simulate. Basically.
Yeah, right on. No, it's a good little pun in there. I feel like I missed some chat here. I actually don't.
No worries.
Slap the
What
bag.
do we got next? Riesling?
So we will infect them with our kindness. It's once my roommate started buying moonshine. Whoo, moonshine. Yeah, no, I left that stuff back in college, man.
There's this company that does mason jar moonshine that has a maraschino cherry, where it's just a big pickle jar, basically, of moonshine-soaked maraschino cherries. Those are great because you just eat one cherry and you've had like a shot and a half of moonshine. So you're well on your way, one cherry in.
See, just yeah, right on. Molly does a really good cupcake where she it's a brandy cherry, but it's the same thing. Um, Wisconsin does some pretty good ice wines. Like our ice wines aren't too bad, but like anything else is like we have this guy and he's like, I know I just bring in the grapes and then I ferment them and
Yeah.
I process like I bring the grapes in from like the regions I think that make good wine and then I make or that grow good grapes and then I make the wine here. And his
Right.
wine is pretty tasty. But like that was the first time he's up at uh is it it's not Mona Lisa wine. It's like Stella Mona Lisa. It's something. It's a play on like it's a play on Mona Lisa, but it's not Mona Lisa. He does some really good wine. I sat there with him and he's like, I just did this and like because he's really into like the sort of like the mixology of the wine and like
Oh yeah.
getting the blends and stuff and he does some really proper wine. He ferments it and he does it in the barrels. He just doesn't grow them. He brings in the grapes to do it.
Oh, you'd have to.
And so he's in terms of Wisconsin because we have a couple of people who have their own vines and stuff. Their wine's garbage. It's very watery. It's
Yeah.
like
Like there's people who grow Cabernet out in Del Rio, Texas, which is like I don't know how you even grow product in Del Rio, Texas, but when it comes in, you know how there's fruit juice and then there's Propel water?
yeah,
Like there's just no punch. There's nothing there. It's
yeah,
like, oh, there's almost a wine in this glass. It's
yeah,
just
and
nothing.
yeah, the ABV is there and stuff, but it's just there's no flavor, and that's what
Yeah.
happens with a lot of Wisconsin wines when they grow the grapes here. But our ice vines, those have been tasty. Like so, those places that are
Hmm.
growing wine, I'm like, yep, your wine's crap, it's crap, it's crap, and then like I try their ice vine, and I'm like, wow, like this is good,
Yeah.
like legit
Well,
good.
it's supposed to be cold, so nailed it.
Yeah.
CJ Obusta found a wine called Kim Crawford. Enjoy a nice bite of grapefruit with that one. He'll be able to smell it when he's pouring it in the glass. Like it's just going to explode out of that glass. I love Kim Crawford.
Princess Wigglebum, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. 8 years. 8 years. And I used to say friendship, but I say support now. Because parasocial relationships are kind of icky.
8 whole years, man.
Yeah, 8 years. 8 years.
Crazy.
The joke has always been months become
Oh,
8 years. It's always been that. But I used to say of friendship, and then, I don't know, man. It's RantCast, so I know it's the DecantCast, but I'm gonna get a little RantCast in here. I've become hyper aware of we're on the Riesling now, right? I'm just gonna assume we're on the Riesling.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you were about to go into a rant.
No, I am. I am now. No, I've become hyper aware of like parasocial relationships. If you watch Rantathon, which I think pretty much everyone here in chat was there at Rantathon for one point or another, but during the Vince block, we talked about like how nerd companies are essentially forming parasocial relationships with like their fandoms and yada yada yada, and I'm like, content creators do this too. And like it's a little bit different in the Warhammer community because I know I will physically see Warhammer people in the community. Like I will go to tournaments and I'll run into them and I feel it is a little bit different. But it did become a little weird at one point when you started like I don't know. It's just hard. So it's like I don't want to do what other people are doing that I think is like predatory. That's the long and short of it. So,
Yeah, we actually kind of had that chat. I guess yesterday on Haywoes, where it was like, when we donate a bunch of subs or we do whatever, it's because we want to watch that show. Like, don't start moving the show towards people who pay a lot of money, and like, don't ever play to the simps, right? Is that how we say it on Twitch?
yeah, exactly.
Don't play the show to that. Just keep doing the show. People are paying for the show.
Right. Well, I had a conversation with Snitbag that was kind of like a part of this is like the mini swap Like I'm very open. Like I'm a fucking open book when it comes to stuff. So I'm like, I don't feel bad talking about this thing that happened in Discord that everybody is in. Um, so like you know, someone's like, hey, can we get a mini swap channel here in chat, you know, in Chat Gang's Discord. And I'm like, I didn't have a time to like think about if that was something I wanted to make, or if like I didn't think about the implications, and it just like, and then one of the other mods just like made it. And like I was like, whoa! Like I had this huge like snapback reaction, and I had to go and Doc actually. I'm like, yo, Doc, am I like overreacting? Because I'm like, I don't know how. Like I'm like, whoa, what just happened? I'm like, I need you to help me sort my thoughts, man. Like, and it was just like this moment, and I'm like, now play out the same scenario, and I'm like, ultimately, like, okay, the mini swap is there. I trust everyone in Chat Gang because the way we grew this was organic. We did it the honest way. We did it the slow way. We met people. I haven't moved off the line of the type of show I make. I haven't, tried to like I don't get me wrong. Like Dollar Shave Club, get at me. I will sell out in like for advertising like instantly. I don't care about that. Like I can't wait to do a Raid Shadow Legends commercial where I'm like, Raid Shadow Legends is the best video game somebody has paid me to talk about.
Raid Shadow.
Like I can't wait for that kind of stuff. But I've never moved off my line. I've never gotten out of my lane of what it is I do and who I am and so on and so forth. But then I was like, but what if I had 100,000 fans? And that same scenario happened, and like I don't have the homegrown, because how can you have 100,000 people that like what I do, that can happen. But that slow grow process where we've, most people know each other. You've got your own inside jokes within each other that cross-platform over into Haywo's stream and vice. Like that organic. That's so hard to to blow up to 100,000 people.
Oh yeah.
It's just difficult. And what if now it's 100,000 people's in that Discord, and this whole situation happens, and I'm kind of like, whoa, what's going on, and blah blah blah. Like, do I overreact in chat? Then do I Doc's busy that day, and he can't be like, hey Meph, like just you like Chat Gang, you trust Chat Gang, these people, like that, like what does that look like if it's 100,000 people? It's just
yeah. When do you turn on sub only mode?
Never. Never. Only actual like capitalists do that.
Yeah, like there's two successful streamers on Twitch: those who are 100% chat, and those who are like 0% chat, and are just there to like, I'm going to do my show, and people are going to come watch and drop me money, or I'm literally just going to do a show for chat, and I'm a dancing monkey up here.
Well, I mean, I am.
Like, look at
I'm the dancing monkey.
like Pay Money Wubby, like he literally is just like, okay, chat, what do you want me to do today?
Yeah.
And then it just rolls in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just like kind of like Hey Whoa and you do, where you do your YouTube content that kind of gives you something, but really it's to catch people and bring them into Twitch.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I love the live format. I like this interaction. Like, we have a guest, we have a topic, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, I look over, and they're like, there's a conversation in and of itself. There's banter. They're, like, fucking with each other, and then, like, they fuck with us. And I love this format. I love this. This is what I live for. I mean, it's just... this is peak entertainment to me. This is the internet at its finest. If it was just a radio show that I often pantomime and joke about and mimic, you'd have to wait to call in, get in on the call, you're screened, like it's like, this is like when technology and the internet and the powers of communication are at their best, because we've seen the worst, right? Like we know what viral blah blah stuff happens, but
no jacuzzi streams yet.
I will. I'm not too proud to not do a jacuzzi.
To be fair, it sounds comfy, kinda. I mean, once you think the fact of sitting in a jacuzzi for 2 hours might be rough.
DecantCast for jacuzzi, like.
I will find my
best
kids'
wines.
pool and
best wines for drinking while you're sitting in a pool.
I'm gonna sit in my front yard and mean mug my neighbors as we DecantCast. So, are you drinking the Riesling now?
Yeah, no. This is tasty. This is good. I love Rieslings. These are good. So
yes. So Riesling, semi-sweet, predominantly known as a German wine. They've crossed over to America. Lots of Washington, like Chateau Ste. Michelle, has a great little $7 Riesling. This one is Old Reliable Smithsonia Qba Riesling, which basically means it's an amalgamation of different growing regions producing a ready-to-drink Riesling.
Yeah, so this is so I'm getting that earthy thing again, where like a little bit more rustic on the nose.
Mm-hmm.
And I get almost like a candy, like
Mm-hmm.
like a candied something
Yeah, you're
smell,
smelling that sugar.
like a like almost like a candied fruit, like like a, so I get something like
Yeah.
that.
A little candied peach,
And
candied orange.
and it reminds me of Welch's white, the Welch's white grapefruit smell. Like
Mhm.
it has a very distinct smell. Oh, hang on, I gotta taste Molly's compote here. What is this?
Ooh.
I like that, but I know others aren't going to like that because it's got a like a tartness with the frosting. You need a little more lime. Well, with the cake though, it should balance out because you got lime in the cake. That should balance. I wouldn't add more sugar because your buttercream's like sugar
Kicker
bomb.
Kung Fu Girl Riesling is great. I agree. Charles Smith Winery.
We're onto the Riesling now, so bring me a glass.
Yeah, this one's super easy to drink.
Mr. Meth just saw someone streaming Mass Effect 3. Oh, I'm sure they were like performatively loving it because they want all the stands. I don't. If you love Mass Effect 3, this is another milestone, y'all, Matt. If you love Mass Effect 3, I'm going to hurt your feelings. So I need you to understand that this is a Mystery Science Theater type thing. If you come and watch that, I'm going to get mad. I'm going to like pause the screen and go into rant can mode a lot. It's going to be bad, but I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. Like love what you love always, and fuck the talking heads on the screen. And I'm one of the talking heads on the screen. Like think for yourself, question authority. I'm authority, so like question me when I make fun of Mass Effect 3, okay? But I'm gonna tear into it. I'm going to destroy that game. It's horrible. It's basically the worst game I've ever played.
I'm going to be the real weirdo. I played Mass Effect 2 once and beat the game. I thought it was pretty good. Never had any
Mass
need
Effect
to
2
play any
is
other Mass
perfect.
Effects.
Mass Effect 2
Yeah.
is perfect. It's a perfect
Perfectly
game.
good game.
Yeah. Mass Effect 2 is almost the perfect game. And then, like, the promise of Mass Effect 3 was so intense that it's easier for me to pretend they never released Mass Effect 3 than it is to acknowledge that the game came out and was just trash. Like, absolute dumpster fire of a game. Oh, was it just the ending? No, it's everything. Everything the game did was bad. It starts out being bad and it never gets good.
Yeah, it makes me fear other threes, like the eventual Last of Us 3 we get. I'm afraid is going to, like, I don't know where you take that story, really. It kind of had a nice bow on the end of it with
No,
2.
well, Dr. Morden Solus goes in the bubble. The Morden Solus plot arc is the best written thing. It's also the thing Drew Karpyshyn wrote. And he's the best writer they had on staff. And Drew Karpyshyn wrote the Morden Solus bits and the Thane part, by the way. And that goes in the bubble and it's protected because Drew Karpyshyn is a fucking badass. And he wrote a huge essay about everything that happened in with the writing staff. And he basically got paid tons and tons and tons of money for all of those essays to get nuked. But it's a little bit of a Berenstain versus Berenstain's Bear thing. I know this existed. I read it. Hey, will corroborate. And then it all vanished. There's Molly. There's Lulu. And then it all vanished off the internet after the big sort of like reboot, rebrand where they re-released the new endings and all that stuff. Karpyshyn was not the one on VTM. There was the overlap between Mass Effect and VTM was the dialogue. It was the woman who basically invented the branching dialogue technique, whose name is escaping me, and then her co-writer were kind of like the main two for that. They came over with the Black Isles and yada yada. It's a whole thing. All right, you're drinking Truly Fruit Punch. Is that close? LOL. Chat Gang is the sweetest bunch around. Nobody says nicer things than the fellas in chat. I think we got an edge too. Chat Gang's got an edge. Like Doc is like
We don't
Doc
think
is
of
our
shit.
spirit animal, and his name is we can slap shit too. Come on, we're not like the cuddly teddy bears. Of the
We're
internet.
not venomous. We just don't take no shit.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Just
exactly.
checking ain't nothing to mess with.
Yeah, that's right. We ain't nothing to mess with.
Hades. When anyone brings up E.T. the game, like it's not a game.
It's not that
so
bad.
Who
though.
cares?
It's actually like it's grossly exaggerated how bad that game
Sure.
is.
Well, like, and that can even be true too. But at the same time, it's like it's an Atari game that like was of confusing quality. Who cares? Yeah. Mass Effect 3 was like the setup to what a lot of people perceive as perfect or 10 out of 10. This is what games are becoming, and this is where we're gonna go. Mass Effect 3 kind of just shit the bed. It's just like where Game of Thrones went. Oh, here we go, and then we run out of material, and then now we have no idea what we're doing.
Yes, the perfect analogy. Mass Effect 3 is the last season of Game of Thrones. They put all these balls into motion. They had like this really great stuff, and they had no idea how to finish it. And everything that they had advertised about it up until that point was a lie. This is the game where your choices actually really do matter. Remember porting in your characters and having all your like story elements in Mass Effect 2 and thinking that porting them all into Mass Effect 3 would mean a damn, and then no, it's just like literally numbers on a screen. I saved an entire alien species and I just got plus 200 to a war campaign that didn't matter. Go fuck yourself, Mass Effect 3. Sorry. You did it, checking. You did it. You know what? For getting a proper Mass Effect rant out of me, you deserve a drink.
A kicker, I would say the last 2 seasons were bad of Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones season 7, everyone was like, well, at least they're going to deliver on all these weird questions. And then they didn't, so they're both bad.
I don't like Game of Thrones in general, or Song of Ice and Fire. It's fine. George R.R. Martin is a competent writer. His best stuff is sci-fi though, or when he goes and writes about vampires and lolis and shit.
Hades is not wrong. After the Red Wedding, after the Red Wedding that's like the peak of Game of Thrones book and series. So it's kind of a confusing place to jump off from there. Like the books are so much more interesting than the show, even as terribly written as the women are in those books. Like my wife can't get through the first book because the women are hilariously written.
I mean, he's like a 50-year-old white guy writing.
Why would he know what the inner workings of women are? But because his characters are so personal and you get behind each character's eyeballs for each chapter, sometimes it's like, okay, yeah.
Well, Daenerys is one of the worst written characters in existence in anything, and it's such a shame because she's the one who gets the sweet dragons. And there's serious ability to be girl boss. You know, like she could be a girl boss, like Disney girl boss. And they just and at every turn, George R.R. Martin just ruins her character the whole time. And he said the whole thing was like he was supposed to have a time skip, because he wanted to have this story where you have all the heroes that saved the world once are dying and old now, and the heroes who are supposed to save the world next aren't old enough yet to save the world.
Yeah, they're all Robb Stark's 16.
Right. And so you have, and he wanted this that dichotomy between it's a really cool story to explore. Right? Because we don't really tell a bunch of myth like that. You think about even a zombie apocalypse story. Usually zombie apocalypses or apocalypse stories, you go up to and then the apocalypse happened and that's your third act and it's over. Or you start and the apocalypse has already happened, and then you tell the story after the apocalypse, right? It's our sort of monomyth, our hero's journey. We always get it in this, and so what he wanted to do was have this remix on that, and he was supposed to have a time skip, but then HBO dumped parked a sailboat of money on his front lawn, and he's like, oh, I guess I could write another book, and.
Yeah.
And again, dude, get that dosh. I get it. Like, you don't know when the goose is going to lay the next golden egg. Get it? But then he was supposed to have this time jump, and then he tried to write through the time jump, and he had characters that were at such appalling points in their arc where a time jump would have served them. Because then you could just be like, okay, and then she's a fucking queen of the dragons, and she's super awesome, you know. And you could just be like, yeah, she got to being super awesome. You got to see the tragic backstory, and then now she's super awesome. But then he was writing
Arya
that.
becomes a ninja at some point. We don't need to see it.
Yeah, and then, but then
Take
he's
your word for it.
yeah, exactly. Like, but then he's writing, how do I get this character to become a ninja, to become the Dragon Queen, and he had to write through all of that, and the decision making and the world that he had made was so bad for them, it was virtually impossible. Because if you're a writer, one thing you know is eventually your characters start to tell their own story. Because the way you put in the work, the world, like, you expose them to your world, and then they make decisions. And, like, sometimes they make the decisions you don't like. The novel that I've had on hold for as long as how old my son is, -2, so he's 6 years. I didn't want a love interest in my book. I wanted to have a bunch of platonic relationships, but as I was writing it, like, the two characters had this, like, chemistry. I'm like, they can't help but have this thing going on.
Yeah,
and, like,
well, they're in such a position to where why doesn't one of them try?
Right,
Seems like it would work.
And I would write a scene, and, like, the characters would, like, hit on each other. I'm like, no, I wanted platonic relationships, assholes. Like, and I'm like,
literally have like a Q level, like, Jesus Puritan character go, no.
Yeah, and I'm like, I didn't want this, and so, like, there is, like, I understand what George R.R. Martin is going through. I truly empathize. Like,
here's what he's going through. If you ever want to worry about your novel, just remember, the first Game of Thrones book came out the same year the first Harry Potter book came out.
Oof.
All the series, all the movies, and they're probably going to remake the movies again in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
And he's still not done.
Yeah.
That is a brutal timeline.
Yeah. If he had done the time jump, he'd have been fine. Like, and
He'd have probably been fine. But now he's like, oh, I'm supposed to wrap up in 2 books. How do I do that?
Yeah, and he's got to write himself out of the corner he's in. And everyone knows the ending that he was intending, but the showrunners who got to his ending did bad. They didn't do good.
Yeah, it's like the ending is a beautiful steak dinner, but we cooked it in the oven for 3 minutes. Here's your steak dinner. Like,
yeah,
it's not ready yet.
Yeah.
You haven't made the steak.
Yeah. I'll never start reading Game of Thrones until you finish writing them. So you're just never going to read them. That's all right. Yes, I shipped my own characters, Hades Death God. I accidentally shipped my own characters, and I didn't want to in the novel that's on hold. The whole thing is like because you need to check. Hey, and this is my last, and I'm going to tie up the RantCast portion of DecantCast here. We're going to switch back over to the rant, but get you some platonic love in your life, like it doesn't mean male, female, male, male. Like find people that you love. Like, I was ruined because I had to be like a shitty edgelord, and admitting love was a thing, and like hugging people was weird to me, and like you couldn't touch me because you and like. When I kind of let go of that shit and, like, I love this person. Like, I love these people. Like, I love you, chat gang. Like, when I was able to recognize that, like, because you get this, like, storybook idea of, like, you get one true love, the Disney thing. And I'm like, no, like, you have different degrees of love. Like, the way I love Lulu and the way I love my kids, those are different types of love. But they're love. And the way I love you, SJ, and Doc, and Alex and Sam and Travis and everybody in chat gang, like, they're different, and it's just, but like, this is love. This is like, if the zombies are attacking, I guess is what I'm saying, chat gang, and you're running at my house, I will let you in. And that takes love.
That's the limitation of the English language as we have it now. Is other languages have all the different words for love that we're missing. And so everyone confuses what love's supposed to mean. But, yeah, I love my friends. I love chat gang.
Yeah.
Love my wife, my kids. And they're all completely different levels of love.
Right, yeah. But like I said, the way I see it is, like, if the zombies attack, chat gang, I've got, 2,800 square feet. We can bunker down. We got
And we'll all now have an appreciation of wine.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so Riesling, crisp, refreshing.
Yes.
You said this is like the workhorse.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable! Thank you so much for the follow there.
Unbelievable.
Yes, Molly and Lulu is the same person. Congratulations, you have now advanced. You are now level 2 chat gang. You have figured it out.
Kayfabe, guys. Kayfabe. It's the wife and the mistress. Come on. Kayfabe.
My bad. Yeah, Lulu and Molly are the same person. Lulu's my nickname for her. Molly's
You'll
obviously.
never work this territory again, throwing out secrets like that. Come
Yeah,
on.
I know. I'm fucking iced out now. I'm never getting booked here.
No, Riesling, one, it's a super easy wine to drink, as we drank it through that entire rant and enjoyed it thoroughly. I also wanted to put it on there just to throw out how much fun German words are. So Riesling is broken down into from dry to super sweet, and if you're looking at it like a big square of farmland, it goes like biggest to littlest in this order. So I get to bust out my German here. I have my list written down. Good luck, everybody. Strap in. We got Trocken with dry, Cabernet, which is most likely what everyone's drinking right now with the QBA. It's probably somewhere between Cabernet and Spätlese, which is right in the middle as sweet. So dry to sweet is where we are with this crispy sweet. Auslese, which guess where that's from? It's from Auslese. We had a nice Twitter conversation about where Alsace and Alsatian wine should be. It is technically France right now, but since only Germans live there, anyone's judge on which country that actually is. There's actually a city right outside of San Antonio called Castroville that calls itself the Little France in Texas, and it's all based on Alsace, so it's all Germans.
Amazing.
Then there's now my wife, who speaks German, had to help me with this Beerennaslese, which is very sweet, and then Trocken Beerennaslese, which is super sweet. Those get close to Moscato or ice vines, where it's just like, whoa, put it on a snow cone kind of wines.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to we're to the Gewürztraminer, the Fetzer.
Yeah, right after Riesling. This one I would definitely reset your mouth, get you a little piece of something.
I ate a piece of cheese. I drank the nibbin of water left in my glass because I'm not wasting wine. I like your technique where you rinse the glass with the wine. I do, but that's a waste of wine to me.
Let's see. Okay, so also, I decided not to open this fella so we can get some proper wine opening techniques maybe on here.
Okay, yeah. All right. I'm for
So
it.
everybody, I like to use a key. This is what this thing is called, a key. Everyone usually has either that or the bunny ears.
So Wisconsin has we have something similar to that. We call it a church key.
Church key. It's for the Holy One. There's also electric openers. I like those a lot too. Those are fun because it feels like a robot's opening your wine. I would not suggest using the good old-fashioned corkscrew and yank.
So you grabbed you knifed off the top, right? Because they all have the little like
Yes. So
tiny.
the key comes with a little blade that kicks out. That's what that's for. You cut a circle on the foil. You get the coin off. And then you open the key and put the corkscrew. Some more ASMR for everybody.
Ooh, yeah.
Delicious.
So now he's got the key in there.
Usually I like one or two coils left out. So this is a two-step key. One step, two step. Most keys are probably one step, but the two-step allows you to push it once and then reload on the second tier and pull it again for nice, easy.
Nice.
You smell the cork to make sure it's not corked. The way you smell, or the way you know it's corked, you will know. It will smell like a gym sock. Corking is when parts of the cork at the bottom dry out and rot, and just once that rot occurs, the whole bottle of wine is ruined instantly. I can't remember the name of this chemical, but it's the chemical that creates corking. An amount, and like, you know how they have that, like, oh, a fentanyl on the head of Abraham Lincoln on a penny is enough to kill you? Like, this much of this chemical of corking will destroy all the wine in California.
Woo!
Potent and destructive.
Wow.
So another reason people ask what's the difference between screw top and cork. When you have cork wine, it has a chance to cork. If it doesn't have a cork, it doesn't have a chance to cork. And that's the only difference. Don't be a snob and don't buy screw top wine because it's in a screw top.
Ooh, that
Corks do not
ASMR
make you
pour
special.
there. That was sexy. That was good.
Corks don't make you special.
No,
They just increase the chance your wine goes bad.
yeah, the bottling technology has just gotten far superior now.
TCA compound. That's it right there. Chat gang helping out.
Just chat game's super smart, yo. I don't know if you know this. Like the number of times like I blank on something, like chat will know, and then they do, because I just have that faith in chat.
Oh yeah, get a little. What you get off of this, man? Before I poison your mind.
I
with
know
my
you don't.
knowledge.
Hey, does that smell like that thing to you? Hang on.
Does this smell like what is it? Does it smell like chloroform to you?
So Gewürztraminer doesn't hit me with the Welch's white grape juice smell as much as Rieslings tend to.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like, I mean, to me it just smells like a Gewürztraminer. Like it's got like a very airy, light smell. It's
I get a little like
little floral,
hand soap.
soapy, huh?
Just a little bit. Just right on the end.
Yeah, like a dial, like a like one of those more. That's that floral thing. Yes,
And then
church
it's
keys.
spicy.
That's why I said in Wisconsin we have something called a church key. But our church keys, if so in welding class we would make them, and we would just make the biggest bottle opener ever, and then to be funny we would put a corkscrew on it. So you would have this like bottle opener that's just the size like of a incense holder or like a tire iron, and that would be the church key, and we just we take it to another level here in Wisconsin is all I'm saying. Pardon me.
Well, definitely the slurriness on my end is just because I'm not a podcast professional. So I start to slowly marble up as we go. Yeah, it's a spicy Riesling. Delicious. It's like a Riesling with a little extra.
I love Gewürztraminers. They're
Mm-hmm. And this is a fantastic Turkey Day wine. If you want to pour this with it goes with everything but the cranberry. So if you don't have cranberry, then it goes with everything. But this is a fantastic one to have on the plate.
disgusting. You got to have cranberries. And by the way,
Oh, yeah.
I don't want your grandma's fancy with the orange peels and shit. No. If I
Can of
can't
cranberry.
see the can imprint on the cranberry sauce, get that shit out of my sight.
Yeah.
I want the ocean spray, which is from my neck of the woods, Wisconsin. We are the largest producers of cranberries in the world, baby. Yep. Let's go. But like, I want to see that imprint. I want to see it needs to be ribbed for my pleasure. Okay.
You want that little extra.
Yeah. I want to hear it.
Yeah.
It just as it comes out. Yeah.
Yeah. We're not anywhere close, but Turkey Day, Gewürztraminer, Sauvignon Blanc, Pinot Noir. When Turkey Day comes around, those are your three dogs. That'll hunt for you.
My favorite wine of the night so far is perhaps the Schmidt and Sonne Riesling, or actually the French Chard, actually.
Yeah, the French have it again.
So.
Yeah,
So I guess
German and French
if
wine,
we're going to go back to our meta thing, we might need to nerf France.
it sounds like Europe as a play style is a little OP right now.
Yeah, the Euro play style, like they've got a little bit of slow play mixed in. Like,
But it makes sense. GW always takes, like, New World was all new hotness, and now they go back and make all the old stuff OP.
Yeah.
Now they have to write new books. Like, the power creep is out of control.
yeah,
And everybody knows it.
yeah, and it's clear that they play to their backyard. They don't care about us. They don't care
Yeah.
about Australia. They care about you the least, which I'm sorry. And America, they only care about you for your dosh. your dollars, and they know that you're
Yeah.
stupid and you'll spend money on anything, so they don't have to tune things properly for us.
Yeah, everybody knows that Gav Thorpe has a pet French Chardonnay that he's going to write even better than everything else. You know, the points went down in the GHB. It makes no sense.
Yeah, that's what's going on here. Oh, no, you can make your cranberry sauce, and, like, I will eat a bite of it and I'll go, yeah, this is good. 4 cranberry sauces made by humans. But give me the robot, like, the can, just, like, where it's like 2% cranberry at that point. I'm going to spread it on, like, on my biscuit. I'm going to eat the piece of turkey with just slathered in gravy and be like, that was still a little too dry, slathered in gravy. Boom. Cranberry sauce to the rescue. Give me the sauce. Sauce. We're all about the sauce around here.
And mostly correct interpretation of Thanksgiving by Hades. Mostly correct.
Let me see this. CJ Ubusta, and thus, so the oil baron lord. This is it. Like, I know Haywo, he's got his like memes and stuff, but it became real. It was crystallized in Rantathon.
Yeah, it's me and me in giant quotes. It's mostly CJ Obusta and Leadfoot in that, because I think CJ's at like 700 gift subs
Jeepers creepers.
or something beautiful like that. And that's why when I had my stonks prepared for RantCast, I had to woo over CJ and see if we can get a Wall Street versus Oil Baron explosion, and we did. It was beautiful. 804 as of yesterday. Big gifta. CJ will gifta.
So I do this thing where I will go into Haywo's stream and just gift sub one gift sub, because I know if I do that, 20 gift subs will happen. So, like, we joke that we've just been trading subs for, like, eternity. And, like, it's true. But every time I gift sub over at his stream, he makes a bunch of money.
It's true.
Like, every single time.
It's
like,
big true.
The system works, right?
It's Galaxy Brain level Twitch stream where you say, you trick the chat and do sub-only mode is a meme. And so everyone makes sure everyone is subbed. It's genius.
Oh, sub-only
man.
No.
Secret genius.
No, he got all of his advice for his success from me, apart from all of his talent. So he's, like, way more talented than I will ever be at anything in my life, okay? But I told him to start the second channel, and I'm like, yeah. Like, I just, like, when he did that, I was like Emperor Palpatine, just like, just like, it gave me power, because I'm like, Haywo, you're, like, shooting yourself in the foot. You're making all this content. His YouTube videos, just every time he makes it, they crush. Every one of them. Mr. 200,000, right? Like, I don't even know what his 16-minute video is up. It's probably closing in on 500,000 by now. Like, so, like, you want to keep doing that with YouTube, but you have free content that you're making every time you Twitch stream. So just, like, export to a secondary channel, man. Like, this is what all the, like, major streamers do right now. So glad he did that. But that's my boy. And if one of us is gonna, like, yeah, I don't know. I'm happy he went full time too, because he hated the other stuff he was doing. So what I'm saying is stop watching me right now. Go watch Haywo's VODs and like sub. Like, he's one of the best dudes out there. I wouldn't be where I am without him. He literally dragged me to Milwaukee from Eau Claire after I was, like, out of college and just, like, didn't know what to do with my life. So, like, good dude, best dude.
Hades, you want the history lesson of how America swooped in and saved the entire French wine industry? Is that what you're asking about?
Yes, we were roommates back in the day, a couple times actually. Dark match, but yes, I would like the history on how that happened, so I can go use the restroom and bring Molly some Gewürztraminer.
So, yes, there was a horrific plague, a blight on the grapes in France, and the simple, basic Concord grape from America that goes into things like Manischewitz and Mogen David Blackberry and Used to go into things like Mogan David 2020. Some of you would colloquially know that as Mad Dog 2020. Its real name is Mogan David 2020. They grafted the stalks of Concord grapes onto these other grapes because if you don't know anything about wine and how it's grown, it doesn't, like, you can have a grape stalk and just graft on Cabernet and it'll start growing Cabernet, and then you take Cab off and you can graft on Pinot Noir. Like, the stalk is just pulling water out of the ground to feed whatever grapes are on top of it. So we grafted Concord off, and it was immune to this blight, and that's why France still gets to make wine. It's because America came in and saved everybody. You're welcome. As usual, I might add. But you used our grapes to make better wine than us, in my opinion, on a lot of different things. Maybe Cabernet back and forth, but Chardonnay, I really like French Chardonnay. And I like Gewürztraminer too. Now, let's see. Where is my... This ought to get CJ going. There you go, buddy. MD 2020 takes you back. What was your MD 2020 of choice? Because there's a lot. I liked Orange Jubilee is always a favorite. Mix that with some vodka. Blue Raspberry, wasn't a big fan of. Habanero Limerita, oof. That was an interesting one. Oops. I hit a vein. Ooh, CJ Obusta. CJ Big Gifta. With the quadruple grip. Hades, you have money. It's just worth like a third of real money. I only knew them by colors. The light blue one, that is the blue raspberry. Blue raspberry. Yeah, blue raspberry. I sold MD 2020 to convenience stores for the first 9 years of my career. So I love MD 2020. I won't accept anybody shitting on MD 2020. This house I live in is because of MD 2020. Sold hundreds of cases of it a month to all the gas stations on the west side of San Antonio. Orange Jubilee, Banana Red, Dragon Fruit, Blue Raspberry, Coco Loco, Habanero Limerita. Electric Melon. And then they have a gold pineapple from last year.
All right, what just happened here? What did I miss? Hey, now, Australians care about you getting drunk the cheapest way possible. Oh, that was from before. Meat juice, the sauce.
I was talking about how I owe my house and my livelihood to MD 2020, so I ain't taking no shit about MD 2020.
USA just keeps winning. Yeah,
Oh yeah, went over the story of how the nice Concord grape stock saved all of French wine from the grape blight. You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like the perfect metaphor for like America and France's relationship. Yeah. Like, this is where like I got. So I didn't know what I was politically speaking for like a long time. I even now I'm moving away from giving like descriptive titles of what the fuck I am. I'm like, I know I have a leaning and I have like some rough structure of beliefs, but I'm like, I don't think saying what I am matters that much anymore. Like, I'm this type of lefty or that type of righty.
It's not a team sport.
Yeah, like I don't think that matters.
You believe in the things for each thing. Yeah. You can believe in.
Right.
Here's a gun right belief. Here's a prostitution belief. Here's a whatever.
Like, prostitution are people too. Hi, Marshall. Or prostitutes are people too. Hi, Marshall. How's it going? I know you're watching right now. But like,
say sex work is different things. They don't like prostitution. I should stop using that word.
Yeah, sure.
Sex work.
Yeah, sex workers. They're real people. Anyway,
they're real people.
They're no, it was but like I got disenfranchised with like sort of like the dogmatism early. Like this and it happened where like you know, because like one of your best, when you are about to go start a fight, you've got like friends out there who are like, yeah, let's go fuck him up. But then you got that friend who's like, whoa. Like, dude, I will fuck him up with you, but are you sure? Right? And like
Yeah.
France has always kind of been a little bit like that. And the minute like France was like, yo, America, you sure? And then we're like, no, fuck this guy. And then we're like, yo. And then they like, it was freedom fries and freedom toast and shit. That was like
Hilarious.
I mean, I was at my formative age of gaining opinions on the political strata and everything. At that point, I was like, wait a second, we just like decided to shit on like our friend that gifted us the Statue of Liberty.
America from mid 2001 to 2005 is just like the cringiest America maybe has ever been.
In terms of just like the boilerplate America, yeah. I mean, we've been cringier. Obviously, there's
Sure. Like in the adorable, you actually don't stand for anything. You're just saying stuff that somebody told you. Like that time. Thank God we're as far away from that time as possible.
Yeah, it's frites. They're Belgian frites, and then fries is what came out of it. And yeah, no, I get it.
It's all about putting fries on. I learned from our Pennsylvania brethren the stuffed sandwich. That's the jam.
Right.
Fries on your sandwich.
Right.
Yes.
DK Teesburg, agreeing with a mob of people without thinking about it is dangerous no matter your beliefs. Yes. Like, even if that mob believes what you believe, and then you're just like, I don't know about this. Like, any time, I mean, that's where, like, being a contrarian helps you. Like, you know, anytime something happens and you're just like, wait a minute, and you have that, like, even if it's, I think you should be more leery of the shit you agree with, honestly. Like, if something sounds, you know, that was something like the fear my mom put into me was like, anytime it's too good to be true, it is too good to be true. Which is probably why I had a bunch of, I didn't think Rantathon was gonna repeat this year, because I'm like, dude, too good to be true. It was a fluke last time, right? Like, so I have that.
There are no free rides.
No, nothing's for free, right? Like, you got to put in you got to put it in somewhere, and nobody gets anywhere for free, and nobody gets there by themselves. Like, all right. So we've got the Gewürztraminer. We've got this Moscato. Are we moving on to that?
Oh, if we must. This is where my nose starts to snob up. Oh, Moscato, huh? Okay.
Yeah, this is your See, I went with the bubbly version because you were like, go for the white cap, and I'm like, nah, man.
Right. I have standard still Moscato, Italian. This is Stella Rosa. If you're not familiar with Stella Rosa, it's probably because you don't drink sweet wine. It's the biggest sweet wine on the planet. It's probably one of the bigger wines on the planet.
They've gone so deep now into sweet wine territory that the watermelon Moscato, grape Moscato, you know.
Meph has found a Moscato called a D'Asti, which you'll commonly see. D'Asti is, of course, of the region of Asti, which means it is mildly frizzante. It has some light bubbles on it. I'm not going to say it's a sparkling wine. It is just kind of fizzy. You know, the good thing about sweet, and this goes for Riesling and Gewürztraminer too, since we're just on the sweet wine kick, it goes great with spicy food. So you a big Thai fan, you like big Thai hot, pad Thai, or a bunch of jalapenos or Mexican food, sweet wine, perfect mix. But of course it is. Think of what you normally eat with spicy stuff. Coca-Cola, if you're down here in San Antonio, a lot of Big Red thrown around.
Baja Blast, baby.
Baja Blast goes with Taco Bell.
The ultimate spicy. I mean, I just smell chemically sweet when I smell Moscato. I know.
Yeah, I get some
flower.
It's
very floral.
Very floral. Some more soap.
An iced margarita. Not on the margaritas on the rocks. Don't blend that shit. Why would you monsters blend their margaritas?
Margaritas frozen. Thank you very much.
SJ Monster confirmed.
Heartlet. Well, I mean, red hair. So we had a guess. I mean, here's the level of Stella Rosa we're talking about. It has nutritional facts on the back. Wine generally doesn't have nutritional facts on the back because they're too snobby for that stuff. But because Stella Rosa does does things with their wine. It has nutritional facts on the back, including every 5 ounces is 14 grams of sugar.
So much sweet.
Big.
So, CJ, Ubusta, thank you so much for the gift subs. SJ, thank you so much for the gift subs. And the biddies coming through from the doctor from down under.
Well, you were talking about subs, and CJ was edging in chat, so I had to let him out.
Is that what it was? Yeah, I see what it was.
Yeah, it's like Scarbrand. You have to keep him out of turn 1. Don't let him fight turn 1. Let him get angsty, and then let him drop 32 mortal wounds on somebody. Oh, Moscato. So.
I fucking love Moscato. We're going to have a lot of Moscato honks, I think.
A lot of Moscato honks because it's the easiest wine to drink ever. It is just fruit juice. It's nice, sweet, easy. It's refreshing.
Is this AOS content? No, it's not. Like somebody shared the first time meme, like the Franco like I just watched RantCast and they didn't talk about AOS for like 2 whole hours, and then just like first time, you get about 1 hour of AOS chat any given proper RantCast. When it's
we're destroying that average.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, like if it's one of our like gimmick shows, you don't get any of that. I've done a Miley Cyrus episode. We're gonna have a chat gang. You did it. Otaku Cast is happening. I know 4 of you are super excited about that.
I have glasses for this. Yes.
Yeah.
Big.
Yeah.
Big Otaku Cast.
Yeah. Big Otaku cast gonna happen.
Frank is gonna be so stoked during that entire podcast. It's going to be like a show built for him.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can ask AOS questions, by the way. We have understanding of AOS.
Yeah. If you have questions about corn and corn products, me and Frank have been testing that thoroughly for a while.
You want to see Meph cosplay cast? 2 of those were achieved.
CJ, for sure, this is not an anime discussion. I will not pretend like I know anywhere enough about anime to even attempt a discussion.
Okay, so I think the zombie meta is grossly inflated. First of all,
grossly inflated.
Yes,
grossly.
You can put like 180 zombies on the table, and that army will be a chore for your opponents to play against, and you can win a bunch of games doing that. Most Soulblight Gravelords players aren't going to do that. The ones that do that are assholes because they're going to get zombies nerfed and they don't deserve to be, except for if you skew for them. Because in a vacuum, 40 zombies, 60 zombies, they're just as advertised. They are a tool in the shed. They do the job that they tell you they do, which is cheap bodies that can still compete, that have a trick. I'm not overly upset.
Just because it's good doesn't mean it's OP.
Right. You're allowed to be great. So
You're allowed to do something interesting.
Yeah, I think zombies are good. I think they're great even, but I don't think they're OP. I fear because that they're affordable, people are going to take something that is great and spam it and get it ruined for everybody else who's using them responsibly.
Well, and I dare somebody to spam zombies and win games.
I mean, they're made of paper. They explode so thoroughly. The thing is what you're doing with that many zombies is what you're doing with that many Ungors. It's the table element that is just abusing the game. Like, you're just abusing the table element of the game with that many zombies. And the fact that they happen to do mortals and they happen to pile in from 6 becomes icing on the cake to take something that is inherently busted, which is just being able to put 180 things on the table and just fuck with your opponent. And then and what people are going to do is they're going to fixate on that they do something other than the thing that was broken, which is putting 180 of anything on the table, is disgusting.
I would say if you took that many points worth of just min squad 10-man direwolves, you're going to give your opponents so much more trouble. Because they're diving all over the place. They're really hard to chew through. Zombies, like Blood Reavers, consistently do damage against zombies, and Blood Reavers can't hurt shit.
Yeah.
So if somebody shows up with 180 painted zombies, you pat them on the back, you put them in a straitjacket, and you send them straight to the padded cell because they painted 180 zombies.
Yeah.
They're obviously an insane person.
Yeah, they're in a, yeah, no. And the other thing, having a more educated player base in Age of Sigmar would go a long way in spotting what the problem is better. You know, like,
Yeah, because
like you remember like the Gav Sherheart, everyone's like mad at Gav bombs and stuff like that. And I'm like, this isn't like what you're mad at is like stacking CPs, not like Gav, and at all. And like Gav was like basically nothing to begin with, and still is nothing. And it's just like people never identify. They know that there is a problem. They never identify the correct problem in this game.
yeah, like if imagine you have a player at a tourney, you see he's at 180 zombies, you go, oh boy, here we go. If you looked right and there was an oops all pink horror army, you'd be like, oh fuck that. Don't even set up the army. I have no interest in playing 180 pink horrors. Fuck that shit.
Well, this is where I like Brendan Melnick's TOing, where he's like, you have to play against an opponent, right? Like, and he just like urges you to maybe not play that list, which is something that like people would be like, that's unheard of in TOing. It's like, look, you got to play against like, we don't win anything for playing AOS. You get a trophy. I've got a trophy for every army I've played so far. Okay? I'm good. Like, I don't have to fucking prove I pilot my army good. Am I the best in the world? Absolutely not. I never will be. But, like, I have nothing to prove about how good I am at game. And there's nothing to win. I can't, like, pay my rent by playing AOS. It's the opposite. I don't pay rent anymore.
The unpleasantness of an army has more to do with the general than anything else. If the person across from you, like the last tournament I played at, I had an LRL game. It was we had a 2-hour block to get that game in. It took 2 hours to get through 2 turns.
Yeah.
He was a poor AOS player with a very complicated army. I had Night Haunt, so my turns were like 15 minutes. Especially since I could do no magic because Techless was on the table. So that was absolute torture. Is that LRL's fault? No. That's the poor person I played against's fault. Because after that, it was nothing but amazing games and had a wonderful time. So glad I got that game out of the way early.
I'm running 9 Blundermen tomorrow. By Blundermen, you mean Stalkers in OBR. Go on. Go at it, yeah. Be careful.
2 hours for the first hero phase. You aren't wrong. It was pretty darn
like,
close.
I will defend LRL. I stand all the armies for the players that play them. I like around here. Like obviously I got my bias. What I like the most. You all know what it is. But like. Even Seraphon, I'm like, I hope Seraphon was busted. I went on the record. I'm like, I hope it's busted and like people just cry for days playing against Seraphon. And like we got that, and I wasn't even upset. I'm like, I know how I will play against this thing, and I know how this meta will play out, and yada yada yada.
I'll give one word of advice because I know obviously Hades is an LRL player, but you want to play LRL. Obviously, you can see online. Everybody hates them, whether or not they're elves or it's NPE or any of that stuff. So if you want to play LRL and you want your opponent to have a good time because you're already working against the 8-ball, know your army front to back and be efficient and explain everything that's happening and how it happens.
Yep.
Because your opponent doesn't understand. Because it's a hard army to play. It is complicated.
But I don't think that's a bad thing. And right now, it's getting to the point where like Martin Orlando, he's like, I'm asking for advice on like I ask Friendo who plays LRL at a high level. I'm asking advice, and the thread just evolves into people shitting on LRL.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing in that? What I'm sorry, dear random Twitter individual. What the fuck do you think you're accomplishing? When I'm like, my friend is like, man, I love LRL. Here's my LRL model, and then I respond to them. I'm like, hey. You paint good LRL, and I saw that you tournamented with them one time. What did you think was good about them? And then just people fucking pile on and shit on it? Fuck you guys! Like, fuck you. Like, I understand I have negative opinions on shit too, but that's not the place for that negative opinion. That's a person looking at a model and a player who plays it, who has some accomplishments, and then somebody being like, hey, help me get better at this so that I can make the community better. If you're better at playing your army, I maybe it's because I played Nagash coming into 2.0. And I remember so hard walking up to the table with my Nagash on my palm because I had to carry him outside of my fucking army case. Walking up and people going, ugh, Nagash again. Before they even knew who the fuck I was. Or what I was about. Or the fact that I was about to, like, put out 120 skeletons on the table, and they were prepared for 60 Grimghast Reapers. Like, they had no idea what I was doing. They didn't know that I was the person who, like, as a child, bought blister packs of skeleton archers because it's all I could afford after mowing a lawn, wanting one day to afford this idiot clown.
Yeah, ICP.
But
you know me.
I never could as a kid. And I loved it my whole life, and I finally am an adult with a disposable income and an excuse to go someplace and play games. And, like, I walk up with this thing that was my whole life to get to play. Ugh, Nagash. Go fuck yourself.
And I might be a weirdo, but when I come up to a tournament table, well, I mean, I'm in my garage talking about wine on an AOS podcast, so weirdo confirmed.
Yeah.
When I go to a tournament and I see the net list and the net list is across from me, I go, ooh, cool. I get to play the net list. Let's see how this goes. Let's see how I do.
I know what this is. This is a known commodity. Theoretically, everyone net list the thing. Then guess what? You get to practice against it.
Yes.
Because, like, my random-ass list I'm bringing just to fuck with you, because I know you don't know what it's doing, like, you don't have an edge against that. You get an edge against the net list because you understand what the known commodities are. Known commodities are good when you're developing a meta. I know what the stock standard is, but yeah, continue. I'm just elaborating on your point.
Like Frank and I, the whole Corn Labs thing started because we were like, neither one of us wants to play the current Corn meta, which is Archeon featuring Corn, or Slaves to Darkness featuring Corn. Like, we wanted to figure out if we could make the book do something, and we think we've found some stuff that does stuff, but like, it's just, especially like the beginning of 3.0, where it's like, oh, you could take a Arcane Tome and make a Corn hero wizard. And we both instantly were like, fuck that. That's not Corn. What are we talking about? Sure, it's the thing you could do, but that's not Corn.
Yeah.
Like, have some respect for your army and then come correct. Know what your army does. If you go to a tournament, if you're at a tournament, know what your army does, and even if it's against the second best AOS player of all time is across the table from you, explain what you're doing.
Yeah.
And not only that, so you can prove that you're playing correctly, because everyone in a tournament is so jumpy about, like, oh, are these the right rules? I don't know everyone's army book. Are you sure that's what it does? Like, always explain, always be, like, always know exactly what you're doing, and it'll be a better play experience. Well, so with LRL especially, be upfront with what your stuff does.
I mean, the best thing you can do to get ready for tournament play is know your army. Like,
know your army.
Know your army. Play your army. Know it inside and out.
Write the checklist.
Yeah, write the checklist. Play so much that you don't have to check the checklist anymore. Like, that's get to that point. Then you go to a tournament, you know your army inside and out. Like, you're going to be a fun opponent for somebody, because, like, anytime there's, like, a question, you're like, I know this. And then when they're like, yeah, but where's that exist? And you're like, here's the FAQ. Like, you literally, like, you've got it all on lockdown. You know why it all works, how it all fits together. Like, yeah, meta chasers are a thing, and I don't care that people chase the meta. I personally don't. But, like, if you care about, like, your army being awesome and people loving your army because you're in it for the long haul, know your army. That's the best thing you can do if you're that person. You know, like,
Hades with the big true right here, where he's running LRL the way he wants to, and people are bitching that he's running it wrong. Bitch, that's Hades' army. He's running it how Hades wants to.
Yeah.
He paints the shit.
And by the way, Grim Slacker showing up. I see you changed your name back a while ago, but good to see you back to Grim Slacker. Yeah, Grim knows his shit. He's OG. He's OG chat gang. No, I just like the NPE thing has just been a thorn in my side forever. I understand NPE as again, I was never a developer, but I did help design some games and stuff like that. I've been around games my whole life. I understand NPE as, like, a literal concept, which is why I tried to force Vince to define it on his show one time, and then I was hoping he'd bring me on for the NPE episode, but did he even do that episode? I don't know. I'm
He
like,
did do that.
I'm
That's where I even heard NPE the first time, was that episode where he
we
discussed
need to
the zombie
define
story.
it. You got to define NPE because it can't be like, it can't be like pornography. I know it when I see it, right? Like justice,
Right.
you know.
NPE should be taken as a potential. This army has a high NPE
But
potential.
but negative play experience is it's so subjective because
Sure.
if you think that you hate something going into it, you're gonna hate it going into it. And if the whole community bases assumptions off of like hating the thing, yeah, losing is NPE. Like I hate losing, that's a negative play experience. Or if an army takes away the thing you're trying to do, like they have armor, so they're rolling armor saves, and you don't have mortal wounds to get around it, or whatever it is, or like they have magic and you don't, and the NPE can arise in any number of incongruent situations. Like, but like, what's the hard line? And
Yeah.
is there a way to get around NPE by knowing more about the game on both sides of the table? Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so part of for me, the NPE issue is first and foremost an educational thing. Our water level isn't sufficiently high in our community. The average level of like a League of Legends player or a Magic the Gathering player in terms of skill level with the thing is a lot higher than our current average player. And I'm not saying that's bad or you suck, but the reality of our game is we don't get to play it as much as other people get to play their game.
Yeah, we don't get the reps that, I mean, you could sit and play League of Legends all night and play
Yep.
50, 60 games.
Yep.
I haven't played 50 games of Age of Sigmar.
In a
In
year,
6
that's hard.
years. Yeah. In the 6 years this game's been a game, I haven't played 50 games of Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just the practicality aspect. So we need to have some sort of like buffer, or we have to have some sort of like willingness to learn and curiosity to understand more than what's going on.
You know what has an NPE experience for beginners?
What's that?
Wine. Everybody accidentally walks into the grocery store and picks something up that they have no the fuck idea what it is, and they drink it and they go, "Oh, what the? I don't know about that. I guess I don't like wine." And then they walk away forever. Or, hey, I've only had $5 or $6 Chardonnays. I guess I don't like Chardonnay.
Big true. Big true. The thing I just topped up on was, by the way, the French Chardonnay.
Oh, weird. I'm topping up on the French Chardonnay.
Yeah.
Strange.
No, that was odd. Yeah, I don't know.
I couldn't take any more sips of Moscato, or I was just going to...
jumped into my glass. I don't know what
I was
happened.
going to have to do some insulin if I had to drink any more of that Moscato.
Molly is going to demolish that Moscato. That's why I took a little off the top. Like just took a nib off it. This is hers now. This is. I went with the red cap because she loves the Astes. She yeah, so. But yeah, I don't know, like I love wine and Age of Sigmar. But yeah, like part of wine is like learning how to enjoy it, right? Like I mean that's part of the whole thing.
It's a learned skill to enjoy wine. Just like when people look at if they join the game, like I have a couple newbies in the hobby, and they look at the rest of the players in my group's paint jobs, and they go, "Oh wow, ooh, how do you get that way?" It's like you just paint. You just keep painting, and then eventually it starts coming out a little better each time. You learn something new. You watch a video. You go to your local GW, and like the one in San Antonio, the painter at that GW is insane, and he's a really great teacher. So I learned a lot from him.
Yeah.
But you just got to do it.
Yeah. I love the two different rats occurring at the same time with checking. So I would like to tell you, chat, the story of a 30 block of Warden that got charged by a metal crunching Stonehorn. Can you guess what happened? Evaporated in one charge. Yep. I had a very unhealthy friend in college that drank a full bottle of Moscato every single week. My love of wine began in college as well. My roommate, Mike was his name. I won't. He was a sociologist major. I was an English major. And we would have these like quintessential debates late at night. But every week we would get paid every other week, and we just so happened to be on staggered weeks. So he would get paid the odds, and I get paid the evens or whatever, right? Okay. And so like every week, one of us would go and like give money to the 21-year-old in the dorms that like gathered our orders for alcohol, and we would get a Carlo Rossi jug. and every weekend we would kill a Carlo Rossi jug together.
Yeah, and that's how you discover that, or secretly your origins for liking Zin so much, because Carlo Rossi Burgundy was your selection.
Yeah, that was our go-to.
normally.
Yeah, the Burgundy is
The
good.
American Burgundy,
We went
French
with-
Burgundy is always Pinot Noir.
To be fair, we went with the Carlo Rossi Burgundy because it had the highest ABV. We just cared about bang
yeah.
for a buck.
Yeah, and
But
that Burgundy for America is Zinfandel.
Yeah, but Zins
Or
are my
traditional
favorite
Pinot
wine.
Noir.
If you Zins and Cabs basically. I like a quality. Cab is like people are harsh on vanilla ice cream. I'm like, why? Like nothing. Like the taste of nothing isn't vanilla. Vanilla is a taste. You know, like
Yeah, vanilla is a very obvious taste.
yeah, like
If you want ice with no flavor, it's called ice.
yeah, exactly. So like I like vanilla ice cream, and but the thing I like about vanilla ice cream is like you can like sprinkle some hot cocoa powder, and boom, you're in a different world. Like Cabaret, like just never lets me down with whatever I'm doing at that time, you know. But like Zins are my favorite.
Van doesn't sound particularly unhealthy to me. Especially this week, my fridge was full of wine and cheese. I had a whole shelf of my fridge that was just wine for the show.
Yeah, no, but no, I like that's where like my appreciation for wine began. Is just like this sort of like wino drunk nights we'd have talking about, you know, solving the world's problems in our college dorm and getting way too loud to where we'd actually have the RA come and knock on our door and tell us to like shut the fuck up. And so then we'd have like quieter debates and they'd get louder. And you had free cable in college, so it was like one of the most like constant access to cable I had, and we'd have Comedy Central playing in the background when they do like, you know, because at night they just cycle through all their like stand-up comedy stuff.
And so what year was this?
This would be like year 2003, 2004.
Oh, see, that was some primo Comedy Central, because it would either be Comedy Central Presents, or when you get lucky, the best show ever made for television, Insomniac with Dave Attell.
That was good.
Fucking love that show.
Yeah, or you get Chappelle Show Chappelle Show reruns, or like Crank Yankers
Chappelle
somewhere
Show.
in there. Like, yeah, no, those are good times, and so that would be in the background, and we'd be like, because I didn't have Comedy Central like in my, you know, youth.
Premium Blend, shout out.
Yeah,
Good.
and we just like hang out in the room, and like we just like, and then like every now and then like, and it was weird because we're just like, we were the definition of like two people with like a left or a liberal lean or a progressive lean who disagreed about it. You know, the whole like left eats itself. That was us in our room at night with our wine when we were wine drunk with Comedy Central in the background, and it was some of the best like soul searching I've ever done was in that moment. And I remember he was telling me that like reality was a sham and nothing mattered and it was all meaningless. He was going like proto nihilist on me, right? And then he did this thing. He was like this rug, and he slammed on the rug, and he's like, this rug doesn't matter. This fucking rug, like, because we're gonna graduate in the fucking rug. And I'm like, oh, the rug doesn't matter, huh? And like we had a duct tape down because like so both of us lofted our beds. So our beds were like lofted and like they made an L, and then our desks were up underneath. Our desk was up underneath his bed with a U, and so both like so on this one side you had like the two desks, and then the other so yeah, the elbow was like our two desks, and then we had the couch underneath sort of my bed with the tail end of my desk, right? So we had them lofted.
Right.
But every time we would get out of bed, we'd have to land on the fucking rug, and the rug would always slip, and so we duct taped the fucker down. And
Yeah,
like,
as you do.
yeah, as you do. So we duct tape, and it's this like horrible shag, like gnarly, like cheapo shit. It doesn't even have like an under fabric or anything like that. It is just threads of shag into the like a crochet net basically. Right. It's the cheapest rug you've ever seen. And he's like, this fucking rug, it doesn't matter. I'm like, oh, it doesn't matter? Like, and you're right, okay. And I tore up the rug and I threw it down the fucking garbage chute. And then we got back in the room. He's like, I love that rug. That was the first RantCast, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Proto RantCast.
Yeah, it was me hanging out with. No.
I've been in the wine industry my entire life. My dad is a wine salesman or in the wine industry. Grew up with him going to liquor stores, throwing orders, tasting and stuff. I went to college, always knew I was going to be a wine professional, and then I graduated, and then I was. It's always just loved slinging wine.
That's crazy to me. We didn't touch on this the last time. That's crazy to me. Like, you grew up in a family of wine. You're like a second-gen wine professional.
Yeah, yeah. A
That
wine huckster, yeah.
that's like a career. That's the thing. Like, you just always knew you wanted to do that.
Well, and it's like
Wow.
the family always had a love of wine and food because it's the shared experience. Like anybody can, well, like, it's hard to pass experience to each other. But when we
Yes.
open a bottle of wine, like we did here,
Food.
I ask you what you taste. I ask what I taste because go your philosophical friend, much the same thought of like, what does green look like to you? Is it the same green I see?
Yeah.
With this wine, is the same. Like we both poured the same La Crema Chardonnay. Did we taste the same thing?
No, we
It
didn't.
sounded like we did.
We had some of the identifiers and like where you
Mhm.
end up on it and how much you liked it. It's obviously different. I mean, like imagine a world where we are all individuals at every level. And I know when you look at the numbers games, like it's easy to lump people with numbers with basic patterns and aggregates and stuff
Sure.
like that. But like if you take any two individuals on these like amalgams you've formed and these big broad number strokes you've formed, you actually won't find two that are 100% aligned in everything they believe, see, think, hear, like.
No, impossible.
It's like it is, I tried to, like, I am not a religious person, and I try to like kind of straddle the line between like I don't, if if you're religious and so on and so forth, like, again, I don't yuck people's yum. I actually envy people who are religious because I'm like, awesome, like, cool, like, you've got it figured out, and awesome, and I don't begrudge you or envy you. I don't have it figured out. But
Hey,
like
and hard break here. Cheers to Tan for choosing teaching.
There
Thank
you
you
go.
for choosing teaching. Fucking hardest profession in this country.
Yeah, it is. It is.
God bless you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, but where I was going with that is like Carl Sagan is an atheist and so on and so forth. But like he said that we're all made of star stuff. We're all star stuff. Is stardust, right? Like, I'm like, wow, man, isn't that like? I mean, it's literally correct. If you believe in like transpermia or like all the various theories, like, yeah, like Big Bang, boom, like we're all made out of star shit. Like, that's pretty metal too. Like, you can have a very, I guess what I'm saying is like a very spiritual or a esoteric interaction with your life. You can have a bigger, like, you don't need to be as nihilistic is all I'm saying. Like, you don't have to be so nihilistic. Like, you can have,
No.
remember, individuals are individuals, no matter how sardonic or literal or how, whatever you take. Like, there's actually a beauty to how, of all the millions and billions of combinations of DNA that exist throughout there, if you want to ascribe some higher power to making them so, sure, fine, whatever, man, I'm not going to harsh you.
Yeah.
But, like, you can also just be like, actually, it's kind of cool that of all the periods in time I existed, of all the combinations of DNA I could have been, I am this one right now. And I got to cohabitate and exist on the same plane with, like, Freddie Mercury and Prince and Maynard James Keenan. All were, like, alive at the same time making music. Like, come on. Like, there's gotta be some... You gotta appreciate even the, like, the literal nihilistic interpretation of the world. If it's all...
Sure. You could look at it and go like, oh, it's all going to mean nothing eventually. Who cares about what it means when you're dead? You were gone already.
Yeah.
This time, no one else is going to get in to enjoy this time but you. Your timeline is yours. This is all yours, and no one else will ever have it.
The way you experienced your Chardonnay tonight, the way you... That's all valid. Like, I don't know why we have this, like, this thing we do where we think it doesn't matter because there's some fatalistic aspect to everything. Yeah. Why do you think that should make it matter more? Like, if you can't...
It matters to me. This is the only time I'm gonna, I thought DecantCast 1 was gonna be mostly a one-off. So hey, I get to enjoy a wine podcast twice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Shout outs to Albert Camus, my favorite philosopher. Sorry, my new favorite philosopher is Giannis Antetokounmpo, but my second favorite philosopher is Camus. And then
now, Meph, what did this Giannis fella?
Yeah,
he did something recently, right?
Yeah. So this Giannis, the modern philosopher Giannis Antetokounmpo, he gave this great speech about pride and ego and humility, right? And I'm not going to, like, I can't properly convey it all because I'm not a philosopher or a poet such as Giannis Antetokounmpo. But he basically said, like, if you're worried about what you did do, you know, that's your ego
Well,
speaking.
and he had a big accomplishment recently. What was that again? There it is.
Won the NBA fucking championships with the Homer team, baby! Woo! Fuck your super teams! Fuck you all! Fuck your big market! Let's go, Milwaukee! Yes! Ha! Sorry. He hung a 50 piece on the Suns. 50 piece! 5-0! Like only 6 other players have ever done before! Woo! But no, his quote's actually like really great about like ego and the past, the present, and stuff like that. And no, it's just you know, the past is, and what I distilled from it is the past is only relevant. I should say it's only relevant. The past is most useful as a measure of where you are now. I hate toxic positivity. Trust me, I'm trying to be a positive person, but people lump that in with like someone who like tries to be positive with forced positivity or toxic positivity, and I'm like, go fuck yourself. Do you know what I actually think every day of my life and like how I feel every day of my life? Like, if you lived in this body, like, you would be like, oh no, it's okay that Meph suddenly decided to like post a picture of a corgi and like be happy for once. Like, you know.
Yeah, you gave me that Bob Ross meets Mr. Rogers wine huckster at the beginning. That's because I'm in my zone.
Yeah,
This is my happy place. Warhammer and wine is the only 2 things I do good. So outside of that, yeah, it's a lot of not Bob Ross and Mr. Rogers.
Why did you make me honest, by the way? Like, I was ready. I actually was about to move on, and you coaxed it out. Why'd you do that? I'm curious.
Well, because now it's a meme.
Oh, is that what it is? Like,
how fast can we get Meph to go Bucks win woo?
Yeah, like how that hat is just gonna stay right there forever now. And just like, even if they never win another championship in my lifetime, I will always remember this year.
Hey, you could be an Astros fan like me. And you're one. The Astros finally did it, and now the entire world thinks we're pieces of shit.
That's weird.
Great.
See, that's not the narrative. Like, the narrative for the Bucks is like the Bucks did it, and like everyone's like, yeah, we knew they could do it the whole time. They're great. They're wholesome. And it's like, motherfuckers, you either weren't talking about us or you were hating on us and talking about like team minus how many times until Giannis joins a super team. Go fuck yourself. Like, if Giannis goes on to to join a super team after his next contract, fine, whatever. I don't care. He did it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he did it. He owes us nothing.
Dude, you know how many, like, when the Spurs owned the NBA for like 2 decades, ESPN shit all over them because San Antonio's 7th largest city in America, small market team, I guess, whatever, no big deal. It would be like, oh, great, the Spurs win. Woo, here's 30 minutes on SportsCenter the next day. It's not like when the Lakers win, and it's like, oh, let's have a block for the parade, and we get to watch all this shit. Like, yeah, I feel you, bro.
Yeah.
On that. Now, my Spurs won't be near the finals for the next 15 to 20 years. But
Dr. Dark Match. Giannis won so hard he fixed the Aaron Rodgers situation. Exactly. Like, he won so hard. Like the kumbaya that occurred after Giannis's win, like, percolated throughout the entirety of like society. It's the best of sports. Like, I know I'm a nerd, but I'm like a nerd about sports too. Like, why do I love like Lord of the Rings? It's a story about essentially the people who aren't the heroes being the biggest heroes, right? You know, like that just shouldering a burden bigger than yourself and seeing it through to the end is the worthiest thing you can do. That we're all saddled with quests and things that we never expected. We always wanted a little bit more, but what ends up on our backs isn't what we were supposed to carry. And then you do. And you don't make it to the end by yourself. You have the power of fucking friendship and magic. But because Samwise and rings and shit. But like, why
Share
is
the
that story
load.
timeless? Because it's telling something that is quintessentially the human experience. It's fucking hard out there. We all go out there with like things we want to do with our lives. Every one of us, and it starts out when like you were like in the kindergarten, and they're like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I'm like, "I want to be a T-Rex when I grow up." And they're like, "Okay, you can't be a T-Rex when you grow up because," and then like reality crushes you, and you're like, "Oh, I still want to be a T-Rex," and then you have to like keep settling and changing what you want to be, and there's these like wholesome small parts out there where like you want to grow up and be a firefighter, and you want to grow up and do all that stuff, and like actually you kind of can, and I don't know, it's pretty awesome.
The white meat baby face overcoming the heel who has everything always works.
Yeah.
It always works.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Everything against the baby face
yeah. Well,
works every time.
like I mean, that's the thing is like, and the big narrative I heard from people who are like Giannis Antetokounmpo, who, they're like you can't help but love him. Like you can't like you listen to his story, you hear the whole thing. When he ordered a 50-piece, and like I said, like I was like, I don't know if I could share the meme of him ordering the 50-piece from Chick-fil-A for like my weird internal morality. I'm like, no, it's too good for the world not to see. Look at this guy. Not a 40, not a 49, not a 51, 50-piece. Like, and then like he's like, and like he orders the lemonade and the Sprite. I want a large drink, Sprite, half Sprite, half lemonade, no ice. And it's like, he's all of us. Cause like when you were a kid, you go to Chuck E. Cheese's or Showbiz Pizza, or you go to the skating rink. What did you do? What the fuck did you do? You made
a suicide.
Yeah, you got the cup and you just mixed all the drinks. That was the first thing he did. It's so good. It's so good. Sorry.
DecantCast confirmed.
Yeah, 7 people stopped watching us when you brought up Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Kill the algorithm.
Yeah.
Destroy it. So let's where are we at, chat gang, on drinking what you have at home? Any comments from chat gang on anything new? Did you like anything? Did you not like stuff? Thoughts? Queries?
Yeah. Dr. Darkmatch resetting what the Giannis quote was. Boasting about your past is ego, the future I'm gonna is your pride. We're living in the now, that's humility. He's gonna be quoted for the rest of eternity for that. And they're like, where did you get that? And he didn't like have a thing to say because he just like had actually thought about it and come to that himself. Because like he there was no coach to quote, there was no, like, yeah, part of it was like some of the stuff his dad had taught him and some of the coaches, but it wasn't like a quotable he read from like Sun Tzu or some shit. It was just like it's what he had like arrived on.
Yeah, and a big shout out Dr. Darkmatch that he hates when nerds say, "Oh, sports ball, cool." It's literally when people look at Warhammer and go, "Oh, D&D, sweet." Like, yeah, you don't like it. All right, got it.
Well,
like, don't make me feel shitty for liking sports.
Yeah, well, I mean the guard has changed. I mean,
yeah,
like sports nerds were always sports nerds. It's just they were the socially acceptable sports nerd.
exactly.
Or they were the socially acceptable nerd. They were always nerds. I mean, they cosplay as their favorite players. Like, like they know the stats and the numbers, and they watch.
They start crying when they talk about their favorite sports moments.
Yeah, like literally, you were a nerd. That's a nerd. That's what a nerd is.
Yeah.
It's just they were the socially acceptable one, and now the axiom shifted a little bit. The biggest business in the planet is like superhero comics and shit, and nerd movies and video games. Those are like the biggest markets on the planet, and sports is a lot smaller than that. And they say the same shit now, like in reverse, and just let people like things. Let them like things. Focus on the passion. That was the big thing I learned is identifying the passion that someone is speaking about the thing that they like, and I'm like, I don't like the thing you like, but I recognize the passion, and that's good enough for me.
Oh, that's why one of these days we'll do a WrestleCast, and I will attempt to not cry multiple times while talking about the greatest moments in professional wrestling, because it hits so good. I'm such a fucking mark for so many of the greats. I crack up talking about, like, oh wow, in Dallas Stadium, Von Erich versus Ric Flair, this and that. Like, The passion.
or
That's all.
the Hogan heel turn. And so, like, what most people don't know is Hogan often wrestled heel on the Indies, but when he was in the
Oh, and even
limelight,
into Bill Watts territory, he was a heel.
yeah, yeah, but like they somehow turned him into like kind of like one of the biggest faces of all time, and then he just like
Kinda. Like the biggest face of all time.
kinda,
John Cena and Hogan is about
yeah,
right there.
yeah. So they turned him into like one of the biggest faces of all time, and so the NWO heel turn Hogan is just like you watch that audience, like watch the camera, like around that time kayfabe is dying, right? Like it's a
Oh
right
yeah,
around
Lupe's in the grave at that point.
and but you took the most beloved good guy in the history of good guys in that type of venue, and like suddenly he's been the bad guy the whole time, and the actual hearts breaking in real time that you witness in the like watch that. It's no less real than like reading your favorite moment in a book or like your favorite RPG character dies, watching it like across the whole thing. I mean, it's kind of beautiful.
The continuity of professional wrestling is so long and giant. Like, if you grew up in the '80s watching till now, like the continuity is there are whole 10-year blocks of storyline. Like, forget shonens, like One Piece and shit like that. Wrestling is so long, and it like especially with WWE, where it accepts most of its continuity still. It's insane. Like the amount of knowledge you need to actually understand. Sometimes when they wink at the camera, it's like, God, would a new fan even know what the fuck they're talking about? Like,
Yeah, no.
when they wheel out Jake the Snake Roberts every once in a while, it's like, if you weren't watching wrestling 20 years ago, why would you know who Jake the Snake was?
Yeah. Yeah, or the coveted DDT, which was my finisher as Damon.
When finishing moves used to finish people.
Oh yeah.
What a shocking
Well,
concept.
but they weren't called finishing moves or finishers. It was the finish, and then it just got
Yeah.
changed to your finish. What's your finish? What's your finisher?
When Jake hit the short arm clothesline, people knew shit was about to start, and then he got that headlock and did the woohoo, and the crowd stood up because they knew if they drop, it's over.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
Everybody get ready.
Yeah. The Rock and Sock connection. Oh, so good.
Big.
Also Mick Foley, huge nerd. One of the
What a
greatest.
shot.
One of the greatest to ever do it.
Oh yeah, yes. Hogan would secretly work heel while being the biggest face alive. He would like finger bite and rake the back.
Yeah.
And do all kind of shit.
Yeah, do heel moves.
Hilarious. But he was basically back in the late '80s for sure. When he walked out, it was the second coming of Christ. Here comes Hogan,
Yeah, he's
the biggest face in the land.
Yeah. No. But back to the wine. So you're a wine nerd.
Wine.
You're a wine nerd.
Yes, I am a wine nerd. Someone mentioned a big label wine tier list. That would be very difficult to do, I think, because talk about all over the fucking place. And you probably don't realize how many of these companies own each other. That it would be very confusing to break down. Like, I'm trying to think of a good example of jumping all over the place, but like Yellowtail and 19 Crimes are owned by the same people. They're both Treasury Wine Estates. Like, St. Michelle, like Jackson family, Meph had a secret Jackson family wine estate. Can you guess which one of these wines that aren't La Crema or Kendall Jackson that's a Jackson family winery? Villa Maria is a Jackson family winery.
Interesting.
Out of New Zealand.
Interesting.
So,
Yeah.
much like when you look at the candy aisle when you're checking out a grocery store and there's only two companies you're actually looking at amongst the 50 things. Wine is very similar.
Graham, we did put out a list ahead of time. It wasn't as advertised as like voraciously as the last DecantCast because we finished Rantathon Sunday and then we're like, oh, we got a milestone, like let's get it together quick.
Yeah, we kind of went like Friday.
Yeah,
all right,
Friday. Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. So, but there was a wine list. I'll share the links in the down there part for the VOD, and we can send it. Maybe I don't know. Is there like a
And this list was put as these are more suggestions, but it was the varietals we were looking for. We were looking for a French Chardonnay, a California Chardonnay. We were looking for New Zealand versus California.
So the blue
So
wine
really,
is
you
the
can-
Smithsonia Riesling. They've got two versions. This is the crisp and fruity. Yeah.
This is the new Smithsonian label. Meph apparently went to a place that sells wine from 5 or 6 years ago because he bought a French Chardonnay from 2013 that was probably going to kill him on RantCast. But luckily, I found out too late and made sure he got one that wasn't going to make him throw up on stream. Some of you may think, oh, well, you just age wine. Nothing you buy in a grocery store you should age. At all, bar none. This stuff is to be drank within 2 years or 3 years of the date labeled on the front. So when you have 2013, that was 8 years ago, it's probably not okay. The current vintage of that wine I looked up on my, industry search engine, and the current vintage is 2018. So that was 5 vintages ago.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's the thing is, yeah, we'll have a list. I'll put it in the VOD.
And if you follow Meph on Twitter, we've been spamming it all week. It's on there.
All week. It's been 3 days. But yeah, no, I mean, it's a list. I think what's the broad strokes is really what's important is recognizing what I learned tonight is the difference between like a French Chard and a American Chard, a New Zealand, Sauvignon versus an American, and just like what the regions kind of bring to those vintages or those.
And it's amazing, especially with the. I always see it in the New Zealand versus California Sauvignon Blancs. It's just like, wow, these are called the same wine. Like, if somebody doesn't know what Sauvignon Blanc is and walks up and has a California, and the next time they go and get a New Zealand, they're gonna be like, what is this? It's a completely different experience. Same with the Chardonnay. The fact that they just plaster, yeah, this is a Chardonnay. It's completely different. What's most important is you see that origin. California, oat, it's going to be butter. If it's French, then it's going to be apple.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Hades Ethgod, I have a 2013 Shiraz Cabernet I got as a gift. Should I not be saving it?
I have a 2013 Shiraz Cabernet that I got as a gift. Should I not be saving it? When did you get this gift? Because some wines will sneak up on you. Occasionally, stuff still works. Much like wine in general, it's not a hard science. They haven't figured out. But this is a broad strokes. If we're talking 8 or 9 years ago, unless this was a wine produced to age, there's a difference. And if you don't know that there's a difference when you're buying it, that means it doesn't have it. I got it when I was 18, so like 4 years ago. It probably should make it another year. I would probably pick the next special thing that comes up in your life and crack it open and see how it tastes. But if you were expecting to pop this in like 10 or 15 years, unless you're doing it for yucks, and you're going to see how disgusting this wine tastes, then do it then. We did have, my father and I, he was given a Brunello, which is a Italian red varietal. It was built to age. This is a wine that was supposed to sit in the cellar, a collector's item. It was like 1998, and we were like, "There's no way this thing's gonna have any flavor left. It's gonna be a big punch, a lot of alcohol up front." And son of a bitch, the shit still tasted like wine. And we emailed the guy from Italy he got it from, and he's like, "Well, we make it better here. I don't know what to tell you." Fucking Megadolas don't know how to make wine.
That was a good Italian, by the way. That was fantastic.
It has a cap like a screw cap, or it has a cap like a screw cap. Yeah. Well, what's the brand, Hades? That'll probably tell me everything I need to know. What's the brand we're talking about here? Show me Paul Allen's wine label.
You've got the big vape going on too. Why did they get rid of Vape Nation? Do you remember when Vape Nation was an emote and we got rid of it? What happened? Where did Vape Nation go? Sorry, go on.
It's Metalla from Langhorn Creep and Adelaide. Again, I probably wouldn't let it make 2022.
We should do this every Friday. I mean, we could set something up where it wouldn't be this in depth. Like it, but like a bottle of wine and like we learn about that vintage, maybe.
DecantCast 3, we either go and do sparkling or wine drinks or blends or something like that, or maybe because we missed stuff on the red, like we didn't do Malbec, we didn't do some of that stuff.
Can we do Red Revisited? Because like the whole big thing was like we got we got a bunch of requests to do. We did this like whole thing where like people like watch the red thing and they're like, yeah, but I want to watch the white wine cast because I don't like red wines. And it's like, but like, where do we get? Because we did like a pretty like robust red. It was a introductory course to like enjoying red wine on a gamut, but it was still like you have to be this tall to ride. How do we get people to like red wine with us? You know?
Yeah.
Like, can we do like red wines revisited where we're like, yeah, I want to end on the saldo anyway, but, you know, something like that where like we go back to like red wines, we hit some of the vintages. I don't know. I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we can throw off the gimmick because the gimmick was fun. Like the whole reason we did that show for the different blood types. Like here's two things that'll age DecantCast 1. It was built because Soul Blight had just been announced, and so we wanted to mark out for vampires. And then 2, we had mentioned it earlier about like cooling off the Aaron Rodgers thing. The Aaron Rodgers thing started like that day. Like that day was like, oh, Aaron Rodgers doesn't know if he's going to start the next year for the Packers.
Dude, hey, I'm in the top search list. That was April. April. Fucking hell, that was a while ago. I had to look it up. That was RantCast 93. And we're only at, technically, this would be 101 right now. I've only had 8 episodes in between because of how inconsistent I've streamed lately. Which is appalling for me because I was the guy who was rattling off like 3 episodes a week, you know, for a little bit there, and then and then I shrank.
Here, Mr. Hades has sent his wine over. Yeah, here's your big hint whether or not you should age a wine or not. If it has a barcode, don't age it. Because you don't buy aging wine from a store. Like you have to go to a vineyard or a particular wine shop and they write a receipt for you and everything. Like it's a very small circle. It has a barcode. Drink it. Drink it now.
Get in the chopper. Drink it now.
How long does tequila last? All spirits last forever. There is no expiration date for spirits.
Real story.
Yeah, if you have a bottle of vodka that has been there for 10 years, it will still be vodka because nothing grows in it. It's too powerful to grow shit in.
You need to up your Patreon so Graham, you're one of the OG like meth Patreons. Like you're good, dude. I don't even advertise my Patreon. It's just like in the stuff. I don't know. It feels weird. Like
if you want to donate directly to me, you see that big purple donate button under Mr. Mephisto? Go hit that button and donate directly to me.
It doesn't donate right now. It goes to a broken link.
And then go to Mr. Mephisto Patreon and donate there.
No, it's just, but like it's weird. I don't know how to reconcile like what I want to be on Twitch and talk to people for free. Like I just. You know, and it's hard to like feel like I should monetize this and commoditize it. Like fuck.
We both paid money for the wine we're drinking, so
Molly saw the receipt and she was just like,
"Hey, it's better than last time."
This was cheaper. I bought like 3 or 4 like $50 bottles last time, and like I'm like I never buy a $20 bottle, and I have to buy like 3 of these. But I have no regrets because the Saldo and the Prisoner were
primo.
10 out of 10. Like it was a different world of drinking. It was like I finally understood buying one $50 bottle of wine, and that's what you're drinking that night. I finally got it. Because I want to get drunk. I want to get lit. You have to understand. Like I want to get drunk when I drink.
Sure.
And like one bottle of wine's not going to get me there. So like you got to have. That's why I like box wine. You polish off a box of wine, then you drink the good shit. Or you drink the good shit.
And if you polish off a box of wine by yourself in a night, you need to get help.
or Trump got elected president, and if you look at my Instagram shot, it's me like drinking from the box of wine, because I had bought a box. Yeah, that happened.
You know what? You know what we need to do is either we should do it like in December. We should have, I don't know what number DecantCast it will be, but we'll be in December, and I will review or talk to you guys about what sparkling wine to get for New Year's. Because that's something that really you walk in at a week before New Year's and go, oh, fuck, I don't know, Andre, I'll buy this $5 shit. And we'll go over the different stuff.
No, okay, sparkling wines. What do I Brut? I know I buy Bruts in general. Like I'm supposed to.
Sure. Luckily, the French helped us out a lot with sparkling wine, so they got to name everything. So there's most of them are either going to be Brut or extra dry. Which one's drier between Brut and extra dry?
Extra dry is it drier. Why am I wrong? Why am I
French asshole? Well, because Brut is strong. So
well, no, I don't need to know what Brut means. I just know that the one says extra dry, so like that should be the most dry I can get between the two.
Nope, it's not the dry
I've been wrong my whole life. That's not the driest one. Like,
nope.
Like because I thought like, because it says extra dry. It's like that's the one that's the most dry that you can be.
But it says, I see you. Well, you messed up, Mr. Myth. It says extra dry, not most dry. Got you there.
I throw everything. Like just. Box wine is the national wine of Australia. Goonsacks. Dude, you gotta slap the bag. If you're not
slap the bag.
Like Mephisto is a drunk of the people. Like it's okay that I had
Sunset Blush. Slap the bag.
Yeah, like
what are you doing with your life?
Yeah, like if you're not, like your Burgundy bags are like,
sure,
like or like even if you want to go like you want to go up a notch, you grab like a Boda box or something like that. Like indulge a little bit because it's got the flavor, but also the funny juice that gets you drunk.
Yeah, Martini Rossi, Asti Spumante. There you go, Van.
Yeah.
What I do, because, and again, I have an experienced palate. I make good money at my profession, so I don't buy sparkling wine through the year really at all. So I save it all up for once a year. I buy a $300 bottle of Pierre Jouet Belle Epoque Brut Rosé, and it's always better than I remember. I always build it up in my head like, you know what, this year it's not going to taste like I remember. Oh, it's so good. It's so fucking good.
I fucking love you, dude. Like, of course, Chat Gang would somehow find the biggest wine nerd on the planet. I have been doing a disservice to advertising our shows together by saying, like, 10 decade plus year wine professional, like second generation wine professional. Like
what am I? I'm the Rock all the time. Yeah, no, I guess Rock 3 generation.
No, he's like third gen, isn't he?
I'm Ted DiBiase Jr. No, don't make me Ted DiBiase Jr. He's terrible.
Or fucking Gold Dust, who's like one of the greatest superstars, the most underrated.
I'll take Cody or Dustin.
Dustin Rhodes is one of the most underrated to ever do it, like by far. People don't wrestle that smooth, that big.
No.
He's like a big guy. He's like fucking like 6'4".
And now he's been doing it for what, like 35 years?
Yeah. Watch him throw a power slam. It's he does it with just it's effortless, and he's like, it's so like he has the best power slam in the biz. You can at me at mr_meth. Like it's just, whew, like it's just.
Here.
It's pure. It's just pure gold.
Keep marking out about Dustin. I'm gonna grab one of my flowers real quick.
Yeah. There you go. Like, no, and don't harsh on the second gen. I have been hyping SJ the wrong way now. I've realized. Oh, he's so huge. My old CEO made me pour Bollinger into Tropicana. Ugh. You were dying inside. Sam agrees with Gold Dust. Yeah, Gold Dust is dope. For the sparkling wine episode, I would open Martini Asti back to back until the episode ends. That's fine.
There's nothing wrong with Martini Rosti, Asti, Spumante.
Yeah.
Let's see. Covert handoff of the French Chardonnay to my lovely wife. Thank you, Sarah.
Hey, Sarah. How's it going?
Hi.
Welcome to Checking.
So this.
What's your favorite Warhammer army? She's gone.
Oh, she fucking hates this game. Don't talk to her about that. Pierre Jouet Bellapac Brut Rosé. All hand-painted flowers from the local convent next to Pierre
That's
Jouet.
so snobby.
Every bottle is hand-painted.
Oh, my skin is crawling with how snobby that is.
This is a 2006. The vintage right now is 2011.
You have ascended out of... Okay, so, like, you've been the working man's... You have been the working man's wine friend, like wine nerd. You are now the bourgeoisie with your hand-painted bottles. You are...
This one, the one they did last year for the 2011, there was a small battery-operated light, and the flowers glowed softly on the bottle. And, it just hits. Every year, it's fucking better than I remember. How do you have an experience where every year it's better? It's bullshit.
Rantathon. So far. I mean, I'm 2 for 2. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that ain't bad.
Yeah. There are people in this world who have you believe that you shouldn't spend a lot of money, or, oh, the big money wines is all bullshit, blah, blah, blah. Do not believe the hype. Some people, now research, find the stuff that's worth a lot of money, that is good, and it's real fucking good. Mm-hmm. If I went out and got Barefoot Brut Rosé for $7, sparkling Brut Rosé, it is not that. It's not that. Not even close.
I mean,
my wife and I joke all the time when we have this one for New Year's. It's like, bust out the beer bong, because I can't drink this shit fast enough. It's so fucking good.
I mean, they did like ruin a bunch of like wine critics like credibility with like several studies though recently where they like had like a bunch of bad wine that they just put in like expensive bottles, and like it basically tricked them into thinking it was better than what it was.
But how much of that trick is real? Like there is a lot of that trick that goes into it. If you talk up a wine, or you think you're on something to talk about a specific wine, yeah, I'm gonna auto sell it. If I needed to sell you guys this wine and I knew it was bad, you wouldn't know that I thought it was bad.
Yeah.
And I've had to sold a lot of terrible wine.
Well, I actually love your honesty about MD 50/50. Like I love it. The Mad Dog. You have the sincerity. You're like yeah, it's shit, but I'm not gonna shit talk it because it bought my house.
Did someone get confused and think the $3 square bottle called Habanero Limerita was some kind of like wine experience? It's fucking MD 2020. It's it's your Coors. You drink Coors because it's Coors.
It gets you drunk. You want to
Yeah,
drink water.
You're not going to take it to the next IPA festival. It's fucking Coors.
Yeah. No, you're not. I like that you have the double you made Coors 2 syllables, which I'm told is the Texan way to pronounce it.
Coors.
From one of my ex-girlfriends. It's like it's got 2 syllables.
Coors.
Yeah, Coors. Yeah, Coors. Yeah, it's 2 syllables. No.
Pop quiz. How do you say that French wine behind you?
Which one? This one?
Yeah. We're at the 3-hour mark. Does he remember how to say it?
No. It's it would be Puy Fouet. Fouet. It would be Puy Fouet.
50%. Puy Fusi.
You don't pronounce. Oh, it's double S.
Yeah, double S gets you.
Yeah,
Double S tier.
Yeah, you gotta pronounce the two S's back to back. That's how it goes.
Puy Fusi. Louis Jadot.
Vanilla Sauce asking you your favorite box wines. I'm gonna go check in on Lulu where her beverage is at. No.
My favorite box wine currently is Bonterra. Bonterra is doing great stuff. The Bonterra Rosé box is delicious.
Bonterra represent?
Bonterra Boda box is great. I used to like Black Box more about 5 or 6 years ago. They've really dumped the quality out on that, and that's unfortunate. I really wouldn't spend the money on Black Box. I would go Boda or Bonterra. Nothing wrong with slapping the bag and getting some Franzia. Know that while Almaden looks classier, it's owned by the same people, so it's basically the same product. Peter Villa is, I believe it's a Gallo product, so if you like Gallo Family Vineyards, you'll probably like Peter Villa. Yeah, some serious drunk French there. Yeah, let's see. For chat gang, Louis. Some of you obviously didn't, or no one should have bought the Puy Fusi because it wasn't suggested, but it is Louis Jadot's French. It is a French Chardonnay, so it counts. I'm going to put that in chat. That's the words he tried to pronounce. Puy Fusi. And he bought another one today because it looked fancy, and I told him to do it because it is delicious. If anyone can type this out phonetically, how do you think you say that? Of this next one. How do you say Puy? It's Puy. Puy Fusi. Basically, just ignore anything that resembles a consonant except the S in those two words. Puy Fusi. I didn't get that one. I got the Mekon Village. Uh-oh, they're stocking up in the kitchen. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of when you look at French wines or Italian or Spanish, there's going to be a lot of looking at the bottle and you go, what the hell is this wine that's even in the bottle? And that's fair because they don't label their stuff by varietal most of the time unless they want to Americanize it. They label it by the region or a specific town or vineyard it comes from. Let's see what Van came up with. Beaujolais, or is that Beaujolais? It's Beaujolais Village. I'm gonna say you got that one, Van. That looks like a Beaujolais to me. That's what Meph picked up today too. Beaujolais Village. From Louis Jadot. That's the red one you picked up at the grocery store.
Oh yeah, that was for me. That was for my pleasures.
Yeah, that's just for
you. You're like
that's
just like a good like Pinot Noir. I'm like,
it is because it's a red Burgundy, and red Burgundy is normally Pinot Noir. What's the worst wine I've ever had? Well, it's not hard to find bad wine, especially in the industry, because you get presented with new people who come in and go, oh, look, I'm going to change the business with my stuff. It's probably that crap I had in Del Rio. That was like, why are you in the desert growing Cabernet? It was just sad. And like, why did you even bother spending the money to bottle this trash? Like I said, Wayne Gretzky's wine wasn't good. My father worked for Mario Andretti's winery for a little bit. He did not. It was funny. He signed on to do it, and then he tried the wine after signing. Oops. Always try the wine before you sign. Awful. Let's see. That's not what I meant at all. I was trolling in my northern British accent, lol. Beau Jolly Village. I mean, if you say it fast enough, it kind of works. Beaujolais Village is pretty close. Beaujolais Village.
Yeah.
And it's a nice little Pinot Noir. It's one of the, it's probably the French wine that's in your grocery store's wine set is the Louis Jadot Beaujolais Village. It's probably sitting there in the red wine section. Oh, use it village. Yeah, villages.
The word, not French.
Village. Resident Evil Beaujolais Village.
Resident Evil, the village, yeah. Right on.
Or not Martin. M. Night Shyamalan presents Beaujolais the Village.
Isn't he doing a new film now, like with the beach or whatever, old or age?
Who
Is that
cares?
M. Night? Yeah, you don't care. I see.
Or M. Night.
He
You're
was
gonna start. You have the ME3 thing. Do not get me started on M. Night's career.
really interesting.
The fucking. I'll have the Newsweek where they pronounced him the next Steven Spielberg burned into my retinas. Like, this was the guy that was the next Spielberg. This guy. Okay.
Yeah.
You make one movie, you're Spielberg. Got it.
Well,
Right.
well, the thing is, like Spielberg loved movies. M. Night Shyamalan doesn't like movies.
Well, he's not particularly good at them.
No,
He got one. He got 75% of Unbreakable is great, and most of Sixth Sense is great.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. No, you're not
Everything
wrong.
else is trash. The first,
The
let's
one
say,
with
if you took-
Joaquin Phoenix is like low
if you
key.
took Signs
better
and
than-
you hard cut to black when the alien reaches through the grate, the movie is at least a B plus. This fact that the last 20 minutes is naked aliens invade the water planet and they're allergic to water makes that movie trash.
Yeah, if you never show them, it's a better movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, like especially 10 Cloverfield Lane. Did you watch that one?
I loved Cloverfield Lane. That's not.
I
that's
loved
not
it
Shyamalan.
too.
That's not
The
Shyamalan.
last 5 minutes was like, holy shit, awful. Like when she's fighting the alien ship.
No, that's the nihilism coming in. That was like super vogue for the time.
Yeah, like if it was just her escaping and she looked out over the horizon and saw the alien invasion was real and it was just like, oh shit, and just cut to black, great. The whole battle scene, because you want to get me up on wine and alcohol, when she lights the bottle of Jack Daniels. Kids, go to your pantry and try to light your bottle of Jack Daniels on fire. That's not how that works. There's not enough alcohol in it. You need a 101 proof or better to catch fire. You can't just catch your bottle of vodka on fire, no matter how hard you try. It will. This bottle of Crystal Head, I could use to extinguish fire. It is not flammable.
You need to demonstrate that. Maybe we have like a milestone next year where like
I show you which alcohol is flammable.
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
If they didn't show, yeah, exactly. Yeah, sometimes you need to leave the audience room for interpretation and imagination.
I would say always leave the mystery. I actually as a writer, I hate explaining things. I'm like, don't get me wrong, the audience will crow and croon and scream for you to explain things. Never do it. Never do it. Never.
All these years, David Lynch has never sat and explained Eraserhead. Fuck you, he doesn't need to.
No. Or
Bring
for
your
that
own
matter,
interpretation.
Like Twin Peaks.
Don't be lazy.
Yeah. Like, never, ever explain it. Never explain it. Never explain it. Like,
Eraserhead's not even that big of a mystery. Watch it twice, you'll get it.
Like, the secret project me and Hewo are working on, and it's my fault it's not progressed in the last year. I'd say it's the world's fault it hasn't, but like it's on me.
I was about to say, the last year everybody gets a pass.
Yeah, sure. You get a punch card. You got 3 punches. You know. I'm gonna take one of my punches. I didn't progress the secret project. But like, it's based on a story I had already told him. Like he knows the story. That's why he's like, yo, let's make this into something, right? That's the whole thing. Is like he's like, this is awesome. This is like the best story you've ever told. Like we can make this into something. Let's make this into something. And like so we're gonna do the secret project. And I'm like, okay, cool. We'll do the secret project. But they got to a point where like we're doing the secret project and he has this like his like understanding of film and like making things in the film industry and like needing to like prove stuff and have all the like mysteries explained to like go back to the brass tacks and like sort it all out. And I'm like I told you the story and you loved it. I can't tell you what it was really about. And so like it was like 3 weeks of like this weird like stalemate between him like, okay, like, well then how do we progress? Because he's like, I got to this like bump in the narrative that you wrote. And like for like the marketability of the narrative and like how do we make a script out of it and blah blah blah. I need to know what you were doing with that. And I'm like, you don't. I'm like, you shouldn't know that. Like that mystery there. But he's like, yeah, but like, so here's the thing is like, I'm not like the person receiving the story anymore. Now I need to like sell the story and like make the story and blah blah blah. And I'm like, and so like he kind of went out and like I explained the mystery to him and I'm like, so here's what that was. And he's like, oh, that's really dope. But also, and like, and then
now
like,
Santa isn't real anymore. Oh, okay.
and I'm like, just like, see, like, it's way cooler if I don't explain that, and I should never have to explain that part of the thing, the mystery. Like, you should never ever explain it all. Writers, I know you're all watching me right now. Never explain it all. Games Workshop, one of the best things they ever did for their IP is never ever fill in all the blanks in their story.
That's why the mystery around the Emperor and his existence just works for 40K, because there's always that one day he might stand up.
Yep.
They'll never deliver. Oh, like what are those 2 chapters of Space Marines no one talks about? We'll flirt with it, but we'll never flat out explain what happened.
And you flirt with it on purpose because you want people's brains to just go like, did they just confirm the thing? You want their minds to go wild.
Yeah.
You never, ever show the shark. Exactly. Yeah. No, you get it. But don't get me wrong. Fans hate you, and they want to see the shark. And they want to know.
Well, like, how much would people how much worse and less remembered would Inception be if they explained the top ending? Like, it just is.
Is that the one I poured you? Yes. That's your road server.
Oh, refill.
Yeah. No, I gave her, because she fell behind on the samples, and when her friend showed up, so then I had to pour samples for her friend.
As you do. Because wine is a shared experience, and everybody wants to ride.
Dude, the world is better if we play games, we drink wine, and we fucking eat food. If you just, like, politics being blah, 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 blah. If I meet you over meal and drink and games prior to, like, the, like, team sport that is politics, I get to meet you as a human, sharing your experiences. And that... Go ahead.
Yeah, my house was always a big share plate dinner, where especially if we went out to a restaurant and everybody got something different, we would all be picking off each other's shit because we all want to know what's happening in that moment. And there's nothing that annoys me more than when I meet somebody and I go like, "Oh, let's go get sushi," and they go, "Oh, well, I don't eat sushi." Like, why not? Fucking, you haven't eaten sushi with me. I'll teach you how to eat sushi.
Yeah, let's find the sushi you like.
Yeah.
That's the lens of other people's passion. Like, live the world through the lens of other people's passion. Like you don't. I'm not trying to sell you on the thing I'm passionate about. Like, I'm not trying to tell you. Like, okay, I'm trying to tell you. Yeah, Nagash is the coolest character in Warhammer. But like, I'm not gonna like. I don't want you to think Nagash is the coolest character in Warhammer, because like you're gonna believe what you believe. But like, if you can like for a minute be like, oh, dude, I get why he loves that character, right? Like, and then you're just gonna like. Honestly, when we have the rivalry and we're like, yo, but like Archeon or yo, but Skaven or whatever the rivalry is, but you're gonna like, it's gonna get deeper, it's gonna get more concrete, you're gonna have better stakes, you're gonna have more investment, you're gonna have more passion on both sides of the exchange. It just gets better when you.
Here's the secret of destroying those nihilist arguments where none of it matters. The second, like we talked for the last 3 or 4 days. I don't like Chardonnay. Here we drank Chardonnay and you liked one. And we tasted the same things. You confirmed that I was real. You had the feelings I did. We both experienced the same things. Oh, wait, you did too? That makes me real.
The
I
galaxy brain of
live.
it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like Chardonnays. I don't like I still don't think I'm a Chardonnay guy because like I feel like if I show up at a party and there's like the bottle of Chardonnay sitting on the ice and there's like a like a Sauvignon Blanc, I will, even though like that one like kind of kicked my ass, like I'll still probably go for the Blanc. Like I'll still like Pinot Grigio is like safe. I'm gonna go for the safe beer or the safe wine.
If you go to a party and there's a Pinot Grigio, you're probably not going to be disappointed. That's another hot tip.
But yeah, so like like it's not like I've rewritten my whole universe around, but like I'm like, yo, there's good Chardonnays out there. Like, let's go to try to find more of them now.
All it takes is that first chip away instead of like, oh, I don't like Chardonnays. Well, I've liked one. How many can I like?
What's the sushi quality in Wisconsin? It's not great, but like we have a couple things that we do good. I mean, it's hard to fuck up tuna in Go ahead.
Yeah. I was going to say, I grew up in Houston, so right off the port, and obviously there's so much Asian culture in Houston that it definitely throw a rock, hit a good sushi place. And because there's so much of it there, it bleeds 3 hours west to San Antonio. There's lots of good sushi in San Antonio.
We've got a couple good places, but it's like your freshwater fish are your better sushi options, but they're not indicative to the sushi process. So you got to find somebody that like knows sushi but respects the ingredients, and then you get some good shit. Right. But like there's like 2 of those I've found.
Much like winemaking, you have to use everything you're given. If you're in a spot where you have more availability to good fresh water, well, you better figure out how to use fresh water. If you're in a region that's not cool enough to grow Pinot Noir, don't grow Pinot Noir.
Yeah. No, Milwaukee has some good sushi places. Like, but you pay a premium because it gets caught on like, it gets caught in California that day and flown over on ice.
Right.
So there's like some great places in Milwaukee. We have people who know the prep and the technique here. Like there's a couple good places, but no, I mean the caliber of sushi's average has raised across the whole country too, though, because we've gotten curious about it. Like I remember the notion of buying sushi at my college like cafeteria, like initially was disgusting and like unthinkable to me what was in there, and now I'd buy it at a supermarket because just the caliber of it has raised.
I eat HEB sushi all the time. It's fine.
I get my festival sushis. Like I'll get it. It's salmon. Fine. They brought it in somewhere. They treated it. They do stuff with it. Like again, how you treat the ingredients. It's not going to be I'm not like if you come to my neck of the woods and you're like, what are the best restaurants you can point me at? I'm not going to put you at a sushi place. Like low key, this is the best sushi place you're ever going to eat at. We got a great great Mexican restaurant that we're just going to be like, wow, this is just here? And I'm like, yo, yeah, it is. We've got a low-key great Thai restaurant and a really good Laotian place.
Yeah, we have a couple good Mexican food places in San Antonio.
Yeah, a couple, like two tree maybe, yeah. But yeah, you'd be like in Wisconsin, you've got this like awesome Mexican restaurant, and you're just like, what? Yeah, no, we do. Like, I've got some good burger joints where it's going to blow your mind. I've actually got like a really, really great Greek place that's going to blow your mind, and I've got a really, really good like sort of modern comfort food with high sensibilities place because we have one of the big culinary institutes. We actually have one here in Sheboygan.
Well, I mean, you're talking comfort food. The main ingredient to comfort food is cheese. I hear you guys like cheese.
Yeah, cheese, butter, milk, and we've got that in spades. So
I hear you're good at that.
Yeah, so we've got some I've got some restaurants I'll point you at. Sushi's not one of them. Like you can get some. The caliber of sushi you could get now is much higher than ever before. But I want to go to Japan. I want to be one of those people who waits outside of Jiro's, or his son's now. for just like 3 months to go and eat the food he puts on my plate, and you don't even have chopsticks or anything. You put it in your face because it's been perfectly engineered to be the perfect bite you put in your face. I want that sushi. I need that sushi in my life. Yeah, wine's like that. Like, I want that glass of wine where you're like, this person, like, grew up in the family. They had the farmland or the dream, and they bought the farmland. Whatever, you don't need to like inherit it. Like, and they're like, I want to make the best glass of wine anyone's ever had with every possible thing I can set up. I want to experience all of that in all of its versions across the world.
Yeah, you just the passion.
Yes.
You just want to taste the passion.